Hello, hello, happy Friday. Welcome to our Friday Witchy Hangout. We do this every single Friday. I hope you guys had a really good week, despite everything being crazy and chaotic nearly all of the time now. And in a bad way, too. I'm joking. I hope that you can find some love and light and some silver lining, and I hope that things around you are bolstered and well. So with that being said, we have a lovely, juicy reading today, and it is messages from your guides. So any messages that want to come through from your guides that they want you to know about, we will be exploring that today. And of course, you can be drawn into multiple piles, and we do have an anchor card for this one. So the anchor card is not a choice for anybody that's new. It's not a choice, but it is like the base energy that goes into all of the piles. And I know a lot of people here read tarot. So just if you want to know like that base energy, it is the seed. The seed. It is the seed. Also, thank you, Light of Love, so much for the super chat. And I also forgot to thank you, Catherine, because you gave me a super chat on the live stream and I didn't catch it. And I just wanted to say thank you to you as well. And also Angie of New Path Tarot, she was like, sup playas. And that made me laugh. So, sup y'all. Okay, so that's the anchor card. And these are our choices for today in the pile. So we have pile number 1, which is the warrior. We have pile number 2, which is the ocean. And we have pile number 3, which is the lover. So I'll put all these up, and if you haven't already made your choices, then now's a good time to do that. And even if you have made your choice, now's just a good time to reconnect with yourself and just get in touch with your own energy. I like to put my hand over my heart because there's neurons in there I read on the internet. So just take a big breath in, or just do whatever you want to do. Don't let me boss you around. And just turn that gaze inwards. Connect with the part of you that is pure energy, love, and light, that exists beyond time and space, that knows who you are and all the secrets of the universe and what is what and why you're here for whatever unaccountable reason that is. I'm joking. And whenever you're ready, just connect with a pile or multiple piles, keeping in mind that sometimes the way you get drawn into a pile can be a broader message in and of itself. And in fact, anything that happens in the live stream in a non-OCD, nitpicky, paranoid way can be a gift, it can be a message, it can be trying to alert you to something. I like to just set the intention that this is a sacred space. I guess I'm behind these cards. That this is just a sacred space where we are communing, divining with spirit, with each other, connecting our little energy tentacles out to each other, creating a web of love and light and happiness and peace, and just people who share in the work, people who share in the journey of being on a spiritual path and really kind of being tryhards, trying our best and also trying not to drive ourselves and other people crazy. So hurrah, that's where we all meet. Andrea, thank you so much for the super chat. All right. Oh my gosh, Cats in Camper Van said, I'm road tripping car camping to the ocean to heal my heart space. So I guess pile 2, that's so beautiful. All right, let me just have a little sip here. All right. Shall we go ahead and jump in to pile number 1, the warrior? All right, Spirit. What messages? Pile number 1's guides. I just heard you already know the answer you seek. You already know your path forward. I feel like this is a group where the path was obscured and possibly your intuition here was obscured here in the past, but you're wiping that clean. You are really clearing this energy, and it's not with anything that's eraser. I'm seeing it's being wiped away with all of this color and brightness. Automatic memory medium, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, can you teach a class on how to healthily channel rage? I'll let you know when I get there. I just feel like you already, you can trust yourself. You can kind of relax more into your energy and into your intuition. I actually feel like this was disrupted here in the past, but there's been some kind of seed planted. I just heard the pearl that is you, the pearl that's in the middle of that seed. And, a pearl is I've heard it's sand. It's like some kind of bacteria that gets into the shell of a clam, and of course it like coats itself in pearl. And I feel like there was some kind of like negative seed or something that was implanted like in your memory. And I'm hearing the sages say, like, you probably heard a lot of gurus say, like, all is memory. They feel like all is memory. So this to me, it's like in your auric field, and it was kind of like radiating certain things out. And this is where this is about to get a little bit trippy, because I feel like for some of you, there's a connection to the age of Taurus. And I don't know if you have Taurus in your chart in this lifetime, in your like regular birth chart, in your Navamsa, if there's some kind of significance to Taurus with you. But I actually feel like there was a couple, and I've been picking up on this like very negative couple, and I mostly pick up on it over on Patreon, like over there for that particular group. But I feel like there was a couple here, and I'm literally seeing a man and a woman. So maybe they're not a romantic couple, but this could be like some kind of partnership joinification of like a man and a woman. But there's like this kind of like weird low vibrational bond that these two people have, and it's formed via jealousy, and it's formed via envy. Oh, I just heard it feeds off of your jealousy. And you guys, I think I'd learned officially the difference between envy and jealousy. Like, I look it up every single time, but I think I know it in my soul now. And that to me is connecting with some kind of like something really resonates with you, something that you've been trying to learn, and it's like you know it, but you have to look it up every time. It's like that kind of like going through the motions. No, you actually have integrated it and you know it. And I think what this is like, these are very envious people, and they're envious of your Taurus energy, which Taurus to me, it's like the Garden of Eden. It is abundance. It's Venus, a Venus ruled sign, right? So they were jealous of like your Venus nature, and I feel like they sought to take it, and they sought to blind you in some way, possibly like with your third eye, to like block your intuition. And I'm just noticing here that this is like gold and like a diamondy thing. So it could have been like with materialism, because I feel like whatever abundance flows forth from you. Oh, and I just saw like a connection here. Like, so maybe from you and from, they maybe sought to interrupt like your web, your connection, your community, and like embed themselves in that or something. Embed themselves. So bed, you know, this could be like schmegzual or something. I just heard sleeping with the enemy. But also, what's that quote that's, it says something makes for strange bedfellows. I can't remember what the something is, but maybe that's relevant. So I feel like they were very envious people, and I feel like it showed as like a haughtiness, an arrogance. It feels like it showed as like an aggression. And I think that they sought to take something from you, and possibly through collusion, through their hidden connection. And I just heard networks, like maybe they had their own networks, but like through embedding themselves in your network or your family or just around you in general. And this feels like it had to do with past lives. So I don't know if you can feel this energy. I don't know if this is repeating in this lifetime. This is just what I'm getting. Like, this is kind of the origin, the seed, if you will, of like what this was done. And it may have actually occurred in like the age of Taurus for some of you here, which is a while ago. It's like a couple of like zodiacal cycles ago, so it's been a while. But also like I'm hearing Mithras, and I don't actually know very much about Mithras, but that Mithraic cult, and some of you may want to like kind of connect with that, but that wasn't very long ago. So for some of you, it could go back to maybe that time, but I know it's like they sacrificed the bulls like to Mithras, and it started off like a healthy kind of thing where it was, I wouldn't say like healthy, but it was like basically your run-of-the-mill like kind of animal sacrifice. Like there wasn't anything weird or strange. But I remember reading that it did turn to human sacrifice, especially of like women and pregnant women sometimes. And like it was very evil. And they tried to potentially do that. And I am seeing like money being exchanged. And maybe that's like the formation of this duo here, is like one of them gave money to the other one to kind of like sacrifice you. This feels very much like a witch hunt. If don't connect to like the specifics of this, you can probably connect to the patterning, the feeling of being a victim martyr energy, the feeling of being sacrificed, the feeling of being cut out of something that you, like a soul group or something like that, like pushed out by these people who try to like take something from you. That's the energy here that I'm really getting. And it was because they're in this like negative, this negative kind of energy. And again, it is around this like Taurus. These are people that are extremely uncooperative. And going back to like the age of Taurus, opposite of that, whenever you have a zodiacal age, it's always like the sun connection of like I don't mean like sun per se. I just mean it's always the axis that's like kind of highlighted here. And so with Taurus, that would be Scorpio. And that is where I'm seeing like the envy and the jealousy. And so I feel like in the age of Taurus, or this could also be a metaphor, even if it didn't occur in the age of Taurus, like you were in this kind of Garden of Eden, and you are very productive and you are very cooperative. And in that Venus energy, and probably around maybe other Venusian individuals, where everybody was sharing their creativity and like trying to actually connect and grow something, and they just got very jealous of what you had. And so there's that, again, Scorpio, secret, strategic, collusion kind of energy to wear the cloak of Taurus in order to sneak in there. And I'm actually getting the 3 nakshatras that are coming through in Taurus as like kind of playing out this story, because you've got Kritika, which is the orphan. And I feel like for a lot of you, that may have been you. Like you may have been orphaned in that life, or they may have, again, with the sacrificing of the pregnant women, sought to like they orphaned a child like via doing this or something. And then the next one is Rohini, and the next one is Mrgashira. And I'm kind of getting that the Rohini and the Mrgashira, it's the shadow elements of those that is like this negative couple, because Rohini and Mrgashira are actually yoni counterparts. Like they're sexually, I just heard sexually driven, but they're sexually motivated in this. Like there's maybe a schmegsual connection here that possibly was hidden or strategic. It's of that Scorpio, but they kind of came in. That's how they came in, is what I'm hearing, to that Taurian space. It's pretending to be that, but it is a guise and it is a pretense, because Rohini is the favorite. And so I feel like the shadow side of that is this is a person, one of the members of this couple, or potentially there's many couples, or like that forms like a group, but this is an archetype that sought to take something from you. And Rohini is the favorite. And I think they actually saw you in this energy, because I think you're kind of a combination of all of the energies in Taurus, like the healthier side of it. I'm not saying you're perfect. I'm not trying to blow smoke, but like you're the more balanced version of that. So maybe you're naturally the favorite. Also, Rohini can be that kind of born sexy yesterday energy. It can be like just a sweet, innocent kind of, it's very Marilyn Monroe. But like, it doesn't necessarily have to be like glamorified or whatever. So there could have been a sense of you being the favorite in some way. It's also associated with red and passion-y kind of thing. And it's a moon oriented sign as well. So like a moon ruled sign. So it's very like warm and very nurturing. And that could be in a family setting. That could be in that group setting. Even with this like trashy, nasty like group or hidden collusion energy, you may have been a favorite. And then also Mrgashira is like a very auspicious sign. And I kind of feel like this would be the masculine energy that's very negative. And he like maybe left something here behind. And they're very flighty. They're very nervous, and so they probably do kind of take a back seat. And I think they feel more nervous about harming you or about whatever theft thing was kind of going on. But they're also so weak and they're so insecure, and they don't have that Taurus energy of the builder, of I will build myself up. So they just kind of like partnered together in that regard in order to orphan you. But orphan, it's like, right, in order to isolate you, in order to maroon you on an island, in order to take from you. Because when I said island, I started to see from, I can't remember which Hunger Games. They want to live in the capital, these people, but I can't remember which Hunger Games it was where there's that island and everybody had to run to the island at the start of the round or whatever. And then they had to fight each other, and they had to grab whatever supplies that they could, medicines, weapons, gear, as much as they could get their hands on kind of thing. And it was like this bloodbath energy. And I feel like that's your Venus energy, because that's why you were attacked, is because of the Garden of Eden, because of the Venus energy. Venus is a well-rounded energy. It's broadly intelligent. It's very likable. It's cooperative. It's very good one-on-one. You had all of these traits. And I feel like with the Scorpio energy that's coming through in that time, in that lifetime, I do feel there's a magical quality here. I do feel there's like an energetic quality here to baffle, to confuse, to swap energies, to like energy cloak, or like somebody here could be very adept at that. And I feel like this could be just an energy that runs through these people at this point in time, because of something that was done here in the past, and it interrupted your destiny, or it was meant to, so that these people could try and take from you. And I feel like this was the energy of that time. Again, like maybe this was the age of Taurus, or again, like the time when the Mithraic cults were like around. And I heard it could be from, which I think it was like in Italy. And I'm thinking, I think it was in a lot of different countries, but I just saw Italy. So there could be like a connection there. But I'm hearing like the Romance languages, because like some kind of romantic culture, something that you would just maybe like with France or Italy or something like that. I just heard the Renaissance. It also could have like occurred during the Renaissance, very Venusian times, where that energy was like there for them to partake in, to learn. I just heard to learn from the masters like during that time, but instead they were so shy, or they were so timid, and then that perverted them towards being utilized, weaponized, and towards like attacking. And they really tried to like get their hooks in you. But I feel like you've broken free from this. You have broken some kind of vicious cycle here. A victory is assured. I just heard, if it's not like completely, if it's not completely connected with. And I feel like it's because you've connected with the totems of like the bull and the snake within yourself. You've potentially made peace with that. But I'm seeing like this is good snake energy. It's positive snake energy. Kind of like the Moses story where like the big snake eats like the little snake sort of a thing. So all the things that are associated with snakes, like healing and medicine and kind of mystical occult powers. But also I'm seeing not only is the snake yoni, that's the snake yonis that are attached to Rohini and Mrgashira as their yoni energies, but also it's strongly tied to Ashleisha, so which is at the end of Cancer. And at the very end of Cancer and at the very end of all the water signs, that's where the debris, the poisonous sacs from like the previous lives are kind of collected. And I feel like this is actually like all their poisonous sacs that are like connected for them. But Ashleisha can also be an energy that preys upon innocent women. And this could be connected to that time, like naive women, young women, coming of age women, or that could just be the metaphor again. And I think actually you may have flipped or you may have confused these people because they could have thought you were in that Ashleisha energy because it rules over women who are like literally kind of just moving from childhood into becoming a woman, and people look at you differently and you don't quite know why, and they think that you're doing it on purpose, but you're just trying to find your way in the world, and you don't understand that people just find your body to be inherently like valuable. They look at it like a commodity. For some of you, could have been bought and sold and traded like a commodity or something in this lifetime. And there'd be remnants of that. They're in a capitalist society. It would come through differently, but there'd be like some kind of remnants of that. So they could have thought you were this Ashleisha energy, but actually you're Rohini. It's that born sexy yesterday, but it's actually very intelligent energy. And it just kind of knows. So maybe that's how you like leveled up, is it's not that you're not sweet and it's not that you're not a good person. I'm not saying that at all, but you're not as green as like these people thought that you were. You're kind and you try to be kind and you're curious and you're interested and you have a lot of these genuinely sweet qualities, but you're also like nobody's fool in this lifetime. And maybe that was like your trajectory. But I feel like you went through all of that, potentially being victimized lifetime after lifetime, playing out some version of that where you were stuck in like a victim martyr cycle. And for some of you, I'm hearing religion does play a part where you were even like brainwashed, blocked from your intuition to forgive things like that. Maybe I've been thinking a lot about forgiveness, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm not saying that it's true or not because I honestly don't know, but I've been thinking that I don't think I like the word forgiveness, and I don't think I like the I think it's brainwashing. Like, at least for me, I think it's caused a lot of harm in my life. I think I prefer acceptance because it's been coming a lot out in the readings that the cycle of grief, right, which is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And it doesn't necessarily flow in that order, right? But that's also the cycle of forgiveness, that it's a process that just has to kind of like go through things. And the end of it is acceptance. And so I'm hearing things like, as I was thinking about that and processing through, I was hearing things like, I accept who you are. I finally see who you are. I'm no longer buying into your deception because it's uncomfortable for me to look directly at you, what you did and why you did it, who you are and why you're like that. I can't fathom the fact that you don't love me and that's why you abuse me and betray me and take advantage of me. I can't fathom that fact that people navigate through the world like that. So I try to protect myself by burying my head in the sand. No, I accept that. I can see you with compassion. I accept that you have your own journey that you need to go on, but I refuse to be your punching bag. I refuse to be your victim any longer. And I feel like that is what's going on. And I'm also hearing like you need to take responsibility for your loot is what I'm hearing, for what you looted and for how and who and the numerous probably people that these people abused. Because all it would do if they actually were successful in stealing things, and I'm kind of getting this is like trying to destiny steal, trying to trait steal, trying to but even like your position, things that like belong to you, and it's all just complete envy. And that put you in a defensive position here as well. And this, I'm hearing gridlock. This put you in some kind of gridlock that you have to work through in your mind. And I'm hearing that Einstein quote that says, a problem cannot be solved on the same level of consciousness that created it. So it locked you in a gridlock because you experienced jealousy. And jealousy, I've learned, and this is what I'm saying, it's like fully, I get it now. Like it's fully like cemented in my mind, because jealousy is the fear of losing something that you have. And that would come from this lifetime where maybe you worked really hard to have something. In that way, jealousy, and I read this in Psychology Today, jealousy is kind of the more conscious emotion of between jealousy and envy. It is kind of a more well-adjusted like human emotion, because envy usually is rageful, like a raging fire kind of thing, and it's usually like subconscious, and it causes that like deep aggression. But jealousy is the fear of losing what you had, and that's where this kind of like comes from, is because somebody tried to take what you had, something that you worked really, really hard for. And I even get that you are a very sharing person anyways. Like if they had just asked But this is like something beyond that. This person didn't just want to ask. This person just didn't want to receive what it is that they needed. There's pride, there's ego here. They wanted to take your spot and be the person that has the excess to give, because they couldn't stand being the receiver. They couldn't stand being the one that was in need and in lack. And so that just made them very prone to evil. And it just made them very prone to taking these like very negative measures. And they have to go back. That's the seed, their negative seed. And I'm hearing like a broken record. And that's their negative seed, is that they can't be humble. They can't be the smaller person. And you can be the smaller person. Like if that's the truth, you're very acquainted with the truth. But when you are happy to share, because that's done for you, being the smaller person and being the one in need. It's made you more compassionate. It's made you more giving when you can be. It's made you softer in a way. And that's not the thing that it did to this person. It made them bristle up. It made them uncomfortable. It made them embarrassed to the point where they harmed people and themselves, and they behaved very badly. And I feel like this is a cycle that's just like gotten very, very much out of control. But like I said, I feel like you've broken this. You're at the end of a cycle. I feel like you've made a very clear-cut decision here. And it's because you were no longer lying to yourself. You were no longer in denial. You were no longer falling for like whatever fantasy illusion bullshit as to why they were kind of entangling in your energy and like trying to be and bully you kind of out of your space. That's what it feels like. It feels like they're trying to take over your territory here. Like that you roam, the pasture that you have been, feeding. They're trying to take your excess, the spoils of your work. But these people feel like they're on the outside looking in now, and that you've mastered whatever this is. You're taking your power back. And if you haven't like felt that shift, that balance, like kind of shifting out, it will very soon start to shift out. And now it's your record that's going to be playing, your vibrations again. And it's like, kind of like being restored here. And yeah, this is something that's gone on here for a while. So let me just try to pull out anything else. And okay, yeah, because the rainbow, I keep going back to that. And like the rainbow is a symbol of like forgiveness, kind of like I'm sorry, but it's like the rainbow that comes after the storm. That's what I feel like you are now entering into, kind of a thing. Friendship and success. So I feel like that's what's coming in for you. I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. I know that there is no greater goal than to love. And I feel like this maybe really knocked your ability to be friends and have friends, because it knocked your trust. When somebody knocks your trust, it's hard to be around people. It's hard to let your guard down. It's hard to be genuinely intimate. It's hard to connect with love. And it's not because of who you are. It's because of who other people have shown themselves to be in your presence. And you don't understand it, but I think you kind of understand it now, that there's like envy. And also like Venus, right? It's all about like balance, and you can't balance somebody out for them. Like, I think you want to play the cooperative dance. And I think what you've learned is that, I just heard keep your friends close and your enemies closer, but I think you've learned that not everybody is your friend, and that sometimes people want to get close to you because they want to take from you and because they're your enemy. And if somebody is in that energy, then you can't get sucked into the rescuer versus persecutor victim triangle. You can't change their mindset. They have to go somewhere and grapple with themselves. I'm seeing hermit energy. They're really not fit to be around people in general. They have to get right with themselves and with their own soul. And I feel like this is seen by the universe, and it's being enforced now. And it's like you snapping into your lessons. Like you have, going back to that Albert Einstein quote of a problem cannot be solved on the same level of consciousness that created it. You've popped up. You've seen the jealousy, envy thing. You've seen the victim, rescuer, persecutor thing. You can see that these are very small people, regardless of what cloaks they've tried. Because I'm really seeing a lot of cloaks being put on this person, cloaking magically, like energetically, doing the, like trying to switch up the energies around, trying to fiddle with that kind of stuff. But I'm also seeing this person try to cloak themselves in like position and with the kinds of friends that they have around them, status, like positioning themselves in society, wearing cloaks of fine jewels and, things like that in order to be taken more seriously. Then in order to cover up, I just heard like the stench that is their rottenness, like their uncooperative attitude. This is somebody who just gets attention, and they draw people around them as like kind of a negative sun kind of energy. From betraying people to usurp them. And so the only reason people have to suck up to them and be around them is because they fear them, and because they have a certain position, they control certain resources, and it's not genuine friendship, and it's not genuine energy. And they're saying like this on a mass scale is kind of like why we're having the struggles that we are, because Rahu, which actually lives in Scorpio, and I'm kind of getting like a Rahuvian energy to that. Rahu is the energy of like society, and it's the head that like eats and eats and eats, and it's never enough because they're not dealing with it in themselves. And Rahu is like a head without a body. And I feel like these people need to like be in their body. And like I'm in particular getting like the center of the body, like solar plexus, like they need to build their confidence. They need to, and they haven't done that. And Rahu always likes to think that it can do the same things that the sun can do. Both can be very successful in their careers, but Rahu is so selfishly motivated and it just consumes things. Whereas the sun is static. It creates a gravity. It creates a warmth. It's a very giving energy. And even though the sun can be very good in their career, they're very austere. They usually live like a regular kind of life, you know? Emily, thank you so much for the super chat. And these readings have guided and supported me through this process. Deeply thankful. I'm so glad. Yeah. And so, but that sun energy is necessary because it's the sun creates the gravity of the solar system. So you can have all these planetary types. And when you think about that, it's like all kinds of people from all walks of life. Somebody who's Mercury dominant, somebody who's Venus dominant, somebody who's Mars dominant. The sun energy kind of supports them all. Why? Because the sun is a very independent energy. The sun has built up its own philosophies. It values that. So it doesn't matter that your philosophy is different. If you have a Venusian philosophy, good for you. I'm glad you have one. If you have a Mercury philosophy, good for you. I'm glad you have one. There's a space for you here in our solar system, you know, and it kind of like nurtures that. And that has a ripple effect, like here with the seed, it has a ripple effect. So no, these Rahuvian people that got so jealous, because Rahu's always trying to eat the sun. And, you know, they ruin everything, and they lack wisdom, and they lack a cohesive philosophy, and they're running around like a chicken with their head cut off, literally, just trying to eat up everything in the universe, like that they can get their hands on, because it's a level of consciousness problem. And there's nothing wrong with Rahu, but it needs to be connected to Ketu. Rahu is not a whole energy in and of itself. It has to be connected to Ketu. And maybe they thought this probably is somebody that thinks that, that they probably are very codependent, and they probably would feel very strongly that, well, they have to have a partner in this world, and that's their spiritual path. Because, and no shade for anybody that, like, if you believe that genuinely, because I don't know everything, and I do think that there's probably people out there who have very divine relationships, but I also think that there's people who hide behind that. And I think regardless of that, like, you can see what my point, regardless of what your particular situation is, I think you have met people of both walks, and I think you can see the point that I'm trying to make. And if not, I would question the defensiveness, and I would question the trigger, and I would question the unwillingness to try to see what it is that I'm saying, because I am saying it in good faith. So I feel like that's what it is. It's like, oh, well, I need that Ketu energy. Oh, well, I need that Rahu energy, instead of integrating it, instead of like actually making it pure. And these two are not on the same page. This like coupling, they're not, because one feels like very differently and the other one kind of like speaks, and it's very Larry Curly and Mo, whatever is going on. Okay, courage. So you really have connected with the inner warrior. That's what I really feel. And maybe you didn't want to do that because you're so cooperative or whatever, but somehow this has put you in touch with courage. I find the inner strength to face fear with confidences. And loneliness. I know that I'm never alone. I feel like these people needed to go off and be alone, and they couldn't do that. So then they were trying to take, and I think you got booted out, or you felt squeezed out or taken from. And so you had no choice, even though that wasn't your place in the divine dance. Like, it is and it isn't, right? Because this is happening and it's wrong. But of course, it's on some level, I still think it's a part of the divine dance, because how would you ever have connected with this side of yourself? Maybe the side of you that is the victim, you know, and how to find your strength even in that. How to connect with your light even in that. I mean, in my opinion, you can look at it from this way where, yes, it's wrong. It shouldn't have happened. And these people are wrong for doing it, but you can't control them. So in your journey, this has now become your journey. And the rightness of it is that you've been put in an impossible situation that you should never have been put in. But the level of powerful that can make you can be connected with. And I'm not talking about the kind of power that these people seek, of I need to dominate over the world and everything because I'm so hollow on the inside. I'm talking about the power of the sage. I'm talking about the power of the hermit. I'm talking about the power of you just chilling, knowing there is. People think that like securities can give them things, and it can. I'm not trying to play obtuse. You know, there's studies on that. Like, I think the number's probably different. I heard it was like $70,000 a year or something, but I think the number's probably grown because everything, like cost of living has gone up and everything. But you see what I'm saying? Like, having a solid foundation, which money can buy you, but I'm talking about having a solid internal foundation, building that self-trust of like, even when the winds are raging and the waters are rising and the fires are ablazing, like I will be okay. I'm just going to do my best. I love myself. I trust myself to weather through this as strong as I can. And that's the kind of strength that you have. That's the kind of strength of the sun. That's why the sun is that guiding light. That's why that sun can support healthy communal relationships, and it doesn't have to try to control things. And that's what you've like connected to. My little Luna cat is drinking her water, and she's not over here like meowing in her chaos, like that emotional like Luna energy. And I just feel like that's a good sign. Like you've balanced out in some kind of way, and you're just nourishing yourself. There's a death of a cycle here. I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. And maybe you had to move away from something that you built. And maybe that was an offering and you didn't even know it. Like you were just kind of building up an offering, because to sacrifice is to make sacred. And we ultimately, I think, fatten ourselves up for the harvest in some way, spiritually speaking. And I feel like that's what you did. And I feel like it's gone on to maybe even help protect, like the good that you did, a lot of it was still preserved is what I'm hearing. And it still helped people. But yeah, I feel like you're learning that endings are merely beginnings. You're learning, this is like non-attachment. You're learning like not to be attached to things, even things that you build, because once you build it and you release it out into the world, it kind of it's not a part of you anymore. You know, you're kind of I'm thinking about like an artist. I've heard Taylor Swift say this, you know, where she's like, well, I like to write my songs because it is about my life. But then when I put it out into the world, it's like, I like that people connect with their own life happenings in it, you know, and you see yourself in the song. And that to me is like fascinating. Well, it's the same for tarot with me. It's crazy that we can all like connect with the same kind of energies. It plays out in each of our lives in a different way, but in like very specific circumstances. I find that dance to be like just incredibly interesting and incredibly powerful. And I feel like anything that you build, like you just kind of, you release it out into the world and other people add to it or make it their own or something. And that's our gift. And we're in this kind of constant giving, but it requires this level of non-attachment. So even though I feel like this was probably learned through betrayal, even though I feel like this was probably like really difficult, I also just heard disgusting. I think this was a very beautiful process. I think this was a very beautiful dance that you played, you know, and you played your part in it. And you learned a lot of things. And you really leveled up. This is to the point of like, I don't want to toot your horn or anything, okay, but like genius. This is like mastery. And I'm seeing like student, teacher, healer, master. Oh, mastery. Master. I thought master was the third one, but you really mastered something here. Some trait, some quality, you've really mastered it. Learning detachment, reading Marcus Aurelius, the Stoics. That's funny that you mentioned Marcus Aurelius, because his son, Marcus Aurelius was I love Stoicism. Like, I find it very interesting. I like the concepts that I've heard. I'm not an expert, but I like to just think about philosophies anyway, whether I agree with it or disagree with it. And honestly, with these philosophers, I tend to think like that they're smarter than me. And even if I can't understand it, that I should really pause and still chew on what it is that they're saying. And I really do appreciate that. But his son was one of the people that did the Mithraic things. He was a very cruel person for whatever reason. And he participated in a human sacrifice in the Mithraic things. Isn't that a wild coincidence there? And the fact that I know that because I was reading into Marcus Aurelius, like his biography and his backstory, and I was just really surprised to learn that his son, I'm pretty sure it's Marcus Aurelius, that his son was this like weirdo. Who knows why that is? Oh my gosh, Fibonacci Sparkle says this was objectively the worst thing that had ever happened to me, but I don't feel the worst I've ever felt. It feels like defending my life's PhD thesis. How beautiful. That's kind of what it is. And like what you've learned, and you can kind of put it all together, and you can like, again, the sun with its philosophy, and say, well, here's what I've learned, and I've learned this is connected to this, and I never would have noticed that if I didn't get dragged through the mud by these absolute idiots. Yeah, judgment. Okay, so that's the other thing is like you're releasing this. I really feel you've released this. I'm not just talking. I'm not just blowing smoke. I feel like you have genuinely processed this. This is what kind of bothers me about the spiritual community. I think it's very well-meaning. But as I've been around these things and I hear people talk, it's very well-meaning, but they talk about the end. They don't talk about the process. And I think it would be more helpful if when we spoke to each other, we talked more about the process. You have to talk about the end too. You have to talk about the goal, right? Because otherwise, like, your trajectory is like unclear. But you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, and then we forgive each other. And it's like, but I don't know how to forgive. Like, what if we all just are just like, but what does that mean? Like, I have always sat and I felt like an idiot, like in spiritual talks. Cause I'm like, am I the only idiot here that like does not know like what that means? Because people sometimes talk like something is a single step and it's not a single step. And I think sometimes we think that certain things about being human are more intuitive than they actually are. Like sometimes I just need things explained to me, which is also why sometimes I'll hear a word in like my readings or something and I have to look it up. Even though I know what the word means, like in a general way, but like when I look it up, it's like it breaks it down. And I actually have a process too where like, I don't know if this is like a gift to you, like maybe you are connecting to this, but like I take my values, like accountability, and I'll look it up. Like I'll look it up, like what psychologists say about it, what philosophers say about it, and like what kind of goes into it. What do I mean when I'm saying accountability? And if I'm going to hit my goal of being accountable, what things do I kind of have to look out for? Because it's not just a single word and it's not just a single step. And I feel like that's what you've really mastered here. So when I'm saying that you have forgiven or you've really released this, releasing something like, oh, well, just release it. You have to release it or it's going to, okay, unhelpful. These are the kinds, okay, let me just be a little bit petty for a second. These are the people that should shush it. You're not helping. You're just putting out like energy into you're blocking the voices, the three voices, the Dr. Ramanis, the Jeff Browns, the Adi Ashantis that kind of know the way because they've walked the way. So they're not just like, well, just forgive, because they would never say it like that, because having grappled with it, they know that that doesn't make sense and that they have to kind of like walk through each of the process. And so I feel like when I'm saying that you released it, I feel like you're the kind of person where it's like, you know exactly what that means, that you released it. You have walked through it. You would never just be like, well, just release it, because you know that's nonsense and you're not actually saying anything. You know when you've released it, you have fully felt those feelings. You would never tell somebody not to cry or not to be mad or not to have a human experience. You're not to control those things. Control it in terms of like when you're out in the public square. You know, like that's going to ruin your life if you're just out there like in the public, like being that weirdo on like the corner, just like spouting like weird stuff at people that don't know you from Adam and just want to like go get a sandwich for lunch. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, because that has to do with other people. But like the human system that you are, you have integrated that. And that is your most precious gift. That's what they wanted you to learn through this experience. It wasn't anything. Okay, so that's the other thing is like when processing this experience, I think like start with like maybe the karmic pays, like, okay, I learned this little lesson in that. But what you actually learned is the integration of your human system. You learned how to navigate through any moment, like what come hell or high water with your internal human system. Like you're not taking on the blame. You're letting your emotions inform you. You're not demonizing them. You're holding your hand through the process. You've learned how to move through things. And that is the skill that you can take with you anywhere. You didn't just learn one isolated thing, this isolated thing. This was your thesis. You're literally your thesis, where you put it all together and you were like, I've been in school for 8 long years and I've done my practicum and here is now what I have learned. And you are your thesis. And that's like your own, some of you, I think you've been through your own judgment. This was your judgment, kind of, in a way, like your thesis, where it's like, okay, where your guide was like, and let's put it all together. And you were like, cool. This is about to be a tough one. You just rolled up your sleeves and then you just did it. And now you're released. You're released from this cycle. And I feel there's an immense feeling of being proud of you that's coming through. And I think you failed a lot, but I think you've healed, like, I get knocked down, but I get up again. So you also learned to maybe not be afraid of failure. And you've also, like, whenever you fall down, you don't just like stop and you're like, oh no, like you can cry and everything, but you've learned that you learn a lot when you fail. You learn more than when you succeed even a little bit. And you're like, have you ever had that experience where, yeah, technically you succeeded, like you hit the goal, but you didn't do as well as you thought? And if you had failed, you could have redone it. And maybe you kind of wanted to redo it because you're like, I could have knocked that out of the ballpark. Have you ever had that feeling? I feel like that's, you know, you know that you learned so much when you fail. And you have learned how to like really take everything from your experiences. It's really inspiring what you've done. And I feel like there's just this immense health energy that's rushing back into your space. And that's way beyond just the physical body. I feel like it's health, it's balance in your life. And that's coming in, and it's you. Acceptance. I'm learning to accept the things I cannot change. And there may be things you cannot change. Acceptance. Acceptance is the end of like the grieving process and the forgiveness process. Acceptance. You've really come to the end of a cycle here, and you can feel it because the sting is gone out of it, and like you're in this like kind of, you're just in this place of beautiful acceptance, and you've worked there. You've worked to get yourself there. So this is really beautiful, and you've put out a lot of good energy into the universe while you were doing this, as you were kind of processing through these things. And it probably did feel unfair. Like, why do I have to deal with this? But like, you've kind of helped to cleanse, like, I feel like energetically the spaces around you. This is good. Service, I feel good when I help others. Yeah. You've helped others a lot just by transmuting this energy. And actually, there could be a like your just energetic vibration may, I don't know, help other people here as well. So let me just see if there's anything else, and then I think I'm going to move on, because this has like been really great and pretty integrated. And I feel like this is a big cycle here. Okay, this wanted to fall off from this like timing deck. Stay positive about it is what it says here. And I'll just get one more around July. So that's a message for someone. Oh, and then the 8 of Wands, a message. So there could come through a message. And I just heard for some of you, this is a job offer. And for others of you, this is something about the finality of this cycle, or you may hear. This came through on Patreon, because I think there was, where it was around Scorpio season, where I was like, you may hear a message about something, but that it's striking me Leo and Scorpio, because Leo is like the king, it's the sun energy, and Scorpio is that betrayer energy. So there may be some kind of message that comes through, and it's connected to the ending of this cycle, and it's whatever you hear is going to be a fruit of whatever this is. It's like, and it has something to do with like a rebalance, some kind of rightful rebalance. Queen of Swords. It could be that a decision was made. It could be that somebody got like cut loose from something that they were trying to steal from you. Yeah. And it's pushing them into now their journey of the cycle. Now they have to be confronted with basically what they levied at your door. Although I'm not getting like the victimization thing. I think it's more the lies, the confusion, the cloaking of what is what. Like, I'm trying to trust people. I'm trying to, so that they learn. They're being like tied up there. They're not being allowed to move forward until they learn, and until this is an enlightenment experience. And the same thing that you have learned. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. Rachel May and Nikki, love you guys. Thank you guys so much. This is an enlightening experience, and it's kind of the same thing. What you just went through is an enlightening experience. I feel like you had to make lemonade from lemons. Like, you didn't ask for this. You were just targeted by somebody's jealousy, but they started a cycle, and now they're going to have to finish it, because you kind of succeeded at whatever they levied at your door. It might have taken you a while, but you turned lemons into lemonade, and these people are now being handed back their dirty lemons. and it's like, why don't you learn how to make lemonade? And they're like, but I don't know how. And it's like, well, if you hadn't been messing around, because they know how to make lemonade. And humans, one thing that you cannot argue that we are good at is that we teach each other how to do things. Like, if I figure something out, I'll show somebody else how to do it, like in a non-competitive environment at the very least, capitalism, where we don't have to just be made to compete against each other, where we can be allowed to be cooperative like we're freaking meant to be, because we're tribal creatures. Then that's what we do. You did not have to reinvent the wheel. You did not have to rediscover penicillin, because somebody else did that, and now we all benefit from that. And that's how we progress in life. And that's always going to be our strength, as a reminder. So this is beautiful. That's all. Accept, forgive, transmute, surrender to change, evolve. Nice. My birthday is in July. Yes, I like acceptance better than the word forgive. Yeah, I think so too, because I don't know. I've been trying to unpack my religious brainwashing. Not that I think I think everybody's in it. It's like we are all in it, and we're confused, and we're trying to be good people. So like, you can see that for a lot of people, the energy is like to try to be nice. But I don't know, if something doesn't sit right with me, and I feel like it's kept me stuck in a cycle where like somebody did something, what I think, what I don't like about like forgiveness and like the emphasis on it is because, okay, somebody does something to you, and then you're expected to forgive them. And if you don't, it's a way for them to be like, well, you're not evolved, or you're not doing the right thing, or you're the one that's causing the problem now. When no, actually, as a matter of literal, actual fact, you're the one that caused the problem. And now it's just the energy is on me. And I literally used to do this as a kid and as a young adult, where I would just put so much of the focus on me. I remember getting cheated on for the first time and being like, thinking that I really could not forgive it. Like, it was just a bridge too far for me, because if you're a cheater, you're not just one bad thing. You're a lot of bad things. You're a liar. You lack empathy. Like, it's a lot to kind of be like levied at you, especially when you're young and you don't really know what's going on. But I remember guilting myself and saying, well, I guess I'm not very Christian if I can't forgive the person that, like, just yesterday I thought I loved more than anything. You know, I guess I'm not Christian. And now I'm guilting myself to stay in this gross relationship that actually I want to be away from. And if I could get away from it, maybe I could level out in my energy enough to forgive you, to actually be like, I see that you're clearly having a struggle, but I just don't want it anywhere near me, you know? Yeah. I had to lead a group counseling session on forgiveness in college. Nice. And you learned a lot. Isn't that funny how that's why teacher and student are like two sides of the same coin. Like, whenever you have to give like a presentation about something and you have to like fill in the gaps of your knowledge, and like you learn a lot just from having to like lead something or teach something. I love that. I love life. Never misses an opportunity. Oh, nice. I've stopped proactively forgiving. Yeah, that's the other thing. Proactively forgiving. Like you cut out the process, the struggle. And you're made to feel bad when you're like, actually, I'm going to need to take some time on this. I don't know. I can't rush myself, because they rush you. It allows the bullies to just kind of like rush you towards like, forgive me so that I can be accepted by the group again, or so that we can all hang out again, because they want something out of it. And it's just so coercive and gross. And anyways, that's a message here, possibly for somebody as well. Yeah, lip service. We don't really forgive. We just let go. Yeah. So beautiful. Okay. So that was pile number 1. And if you're just joining us, then we finished pile number 1, which is the warrior. And we're getting ready to move on to the ocean and then the lover. And I'm just going to leave that up here for a second while I take a drink and refresh myself. Oh my gosh, EP. Thank you so much for the super chat. You are the best. Thank you. Thank you. Pay attention to people who rush you. That says all there is. Yeah, because it's a selfish motivation. Because it's not about you. It's not about, hey, I've wronged you. Yeah, like, why is it not take all the time you need? Clearly, I've wronged you, and I can't even help you. A lot of things that people do that's really wrong, like cheating, for instance, there's nothing they can do to help you out of it. I mean, I guess kind of like, you still have to work through that hurt, that betrayal. You're the one that's going to have trust issues forever. Like, they did that to you, and there's nothing they can do to help. And they did it frivolously, a lot of these people. And so the least they can do, the very least, is just to make sure you have all the things that you need, all your snacks and your blankets and your therapy access and stuff, and just allow that process to happen, and just be protective of it, and be patient, and not like add literal insult to injury of why you're not doing enough. Forgiveness isn't allowing them to continue to keep doing it again and pulling your heartstrings. That's the point of playing the victim. They will try anything. So true. And the nuances of all this stuff really matters, because if somebody is even if they're just selfishly motivated and they just want to get away with it and they just want things to move on selfishly because they just want to not have to feel guilty. Maybe they need to feel guilty. The same way that you need to grapple with like betrayal, they need to grapple with their guilt and their shame and get to the root of why they do that. And actually, the other thing too is, karmically speaking, I think when we clear our karmas, sometimes it's because you become a person that would never do that. So those karmas no longer stick to you. And so you don't have to like live out lifetimes with that, because you've deathed and transformed, and you've made yourself a different person. If you were in the same exact situation, it's not just lip service. It's not just in your mind. If you were in the same exact situation, the things that you have learned and you have so thoroughly integrated, you would never, ever even think for a moment to make that same mistake. Or if you did, you would just be like, no, it's not worth it, because you've learned and you've integrated and you no longer need that lesson. That's what I think having a benevolent God is, or like a benevolent energy that really does want the best for us and wants us to heal and grow, is that everything that we go through, it's for a reason. And it's when we integrate it, it just kind of falls away. It's because it's not about punishment. It's not. Sometimes we need to come up with a reason in our heads to make sense of why, and then we can let go and release the hurt it caused. That's what forgiveness really is about for ourselves. Yeah, because you ever notice that, like, when you feel like you understand something, then you can kind of put it down and you can kind of breathe out, and then you can let it go. It really is about letting it go. It really is, yeah. What if all the piles are calling? Sometimes that's how it is. Maybe your guides have a lot to say to you today. Thank God I have the integrity now in self. Exactly, right? And we just shared something, a short that Alex shared to me over on Patreon. It was the thing about forgiveness where the guy was like, I can't forgive myself, but it's like, yeah, like we all mess up. But when you truly do learn and you have grappled with your guilt, and again, you don't short circuit your own process and you really get to the root of why you behaved that way to the point where you could be put in that same situation. You're not just saying lip service of I'm sorry. You could be put in that same situation again, and you legitimately would, even without knowing the way that things unfold, like you legitimately would make a different decision. That means you've learned all you can learn, and just thank yourself for doing that, because that's like the hard thing. Tonglen is a Buddhist meditation where you focus on your enemies having the best. Yeah, that is some really advanced stuff. That is some advanced stuff right there. All right, so pile number 2 is the ocean. The ocean breeze, I just heard, and we will be moving on to that. Actually, let me just put my little gloss on. I forgot to do that because I got to chatting. Little Gemini that I am. I got to chatting and I got distracted. Aries in the house. All right. Okay, let's compassion this. Compassion. Compassion, compassion. I just heard, let it go, can't hold it back anymore. I feel like there's kind of a confessional energy here to start a new beginning. Ooh, there's like new, fresh beginning here, but hold on. There's also secrets. Let me just see. All right, Spirit. New energy for pile number 2. Messages, Spirit guides. Yeah, this is a group that really needs to that need fresh air, and they need to cleanse the energy here. And this could have to do with a certain connection, because I feel like I'm almost getting that somebody here is walking away from you, and it's like you want this person to come back or something. Yes, there's a secret here that you want clarity. You may want clarification from someone, so again, that you can let go and have a new beginning. Or I think though, for most of you, this is a pile that wants to give clarification, because I always get secretive energy with the ocean, because I always just think about all the things that are under there that we can't see. Rocks, Jagged Edge. Jagged Edge is a band that might be relevant or a coincidence, but shipwrecks, ridges, things like that. It's it hides so much, and I feel like there is this emotional energy. Something here was hidden, and yeah, it's about a lover situation. So possibly maybe this had to do with marriage, or maybe you wanted marriage with this person, or maybe somebody was married here. Okay, and I don't know what this is, okay, because I saw this TikTok recently. I'm sometimes late to these things, so I don't know if this is happening in real time or if I'm just late to the game. But it was this video, and it was horrific, of this little girl. I mean, she was grown. I mean, she was 17 or 18, I think. She was a young woman. And her pastor made her go to the front of her congregation and apologize to the congregation because she had become pregnant. Where was this man that got her pregnant? He was nowhere around. And it was basically to me, it looked like a humiliation ritual. And she was like, I just hope that you all can forgive me. And then he forbid her to have a baby shower or anything. It was just all about punishment, and it was all about humiliation. And that's not what this is about, because it feels like there needs to be this confessional energy. So I don't know if there's if you have gone to a religious person for that, it's not about humiliation and abuse and flagellating yourself, I'm seeing that guy from the Da Vinci Code. Remember the very pale guy, and he had that whip thing, and he would just whip himself on the back. It's not about that. That's not the energy that needs to come through here. And I feel like some of you, maybe you've done something here, and it's you've been really harming yourself. Or for some of you, this is flip the energies. For some of you, kind of flip the energies. So I feel like there's something here where it's it's not about that. Yeah, it's about again, love, forgiveness, kind of letting it go here. There's a lover's energy that's coming through. Well, yeah. Okay. Some of you feel like you let down some kind of, I don't know if this is a religious institution. And like, that's the thing too. It's like, it's so important to do the work of, what do they call it? Not detaching, but deconstructing, like deconstructing your beliefs. So I think that there's something that you did that's wrong. And I think that the place that you're bumping into is like, you've been told that it's wrong. You know what I think? I think this is actually a very good sign that you're feeling whatever it is that you're feeling and that you're grappling with it. Because one of the things that you're supposed to uncover here. Oh, so there's spiritual things that you're meant to uncover in this process. So it's mirroring you because you have secrets and there's certain things that you want to uncover, but Spirit is saying, I have things that I'm uncovering to you through this process. Trust that. So I feel like there's an overlap here of like whatever religious training that you had. And I think that a lot of you felt, again, like abused or like stood over. It didn't feel personal, like whatever you, so it felt detached, like kind of separate from you, where you know that it's wrong to like lie, steal, and cheat or whatever. But you had like maybe it's controlling parents or whatever telling you all of that. And it was that's wrong. That's more wrong. So it couldn't actually settle in with you. You were never invited to consider philosophically what they were trying to say to you. Make your own choice as to whether you believe it or you don't and like move from there. It was always just something here was like imposed onto you. But you have hit a situation here and it's very secretive, like whatever it is that you did. And I think it was kind of where the rubber meets the road, where you were rebelling against this very oppressive force, and you were right to do that because this is very wrong. Just like that pastor, it's like very wrong of like what that person was doing. But it's hard to see the wood through the trees here because I think this is overlapping with your genuine code of conduct. Like virtues that you yourself actually hold sacred. And I think there needs to be some self-forgiveness here because I think that you couldn't hear that in the past. You couldn't hear the virtues and the values that you yourself hold sacred because it was always just forced upon you, and all of your energy had to go towards pushing that off of you, that you never got to go internally and have that be a beautiful thing. Have that be, who am I? You know, when people are around me, how do I want people to feel? What do I want my legacy to be in terms of, you know how they say that, actually, I just did a personal reading for somebody and I've read for them before and they have very beautiful energy. And I remembered them because of the quote that says that people might not remember what you said, they might not remember what you did, but they always remember how you made them feel. And she made me feel very good, even just tapping into her energy. And I remembered her, and I feel like asking yourself that, how do you want people to feel whenever they're around you? At the end of your life, when people are talking about their interactions with you, what do you want that to be? And I feel like you're just now able to kind of get that. So I feel like there's some religious abuse and religious trauma. And that's why you need to be gentle with yourself. I don't feel like you were parented in that way. And I don't feel like you had, especially in terms of authority, religious leaders, spiritual leaders, you didn't have that modeled for you of people who treated themselves with grace as they moved through their own process. And they showed you how to interact with your own process. And they made space for you to kind of like work out what you genuinely believed and what you genuinely vibe with and what you genuinely felt values towards. So it's confused this space because on the one hand, you're very right to rebel. You're very right to protect yourself against this oppressive force because it's coming from the wrong place. And so you couldn't even connect with the rightness because there's certain things that were right about what they were saying that you actually do agree with, but it doesn't, you agree with it coming from a different place and for a different reason. And so I think that this kind of got like all wadded up and you've acted out of your integrity in some way. But I think at the time you didn't realize that you were acting out of your integrity or you didn't care because, the way you were relating to it is this arbitrary oppressive force. But there's something here, and I think it overlaps with the divine counterpart. It's, because the Lovers is coming out, the Hierophant. And this could be about like keeping your marriage vows or honoring the love that you feel one-on-one with another person. And that's private, and fuck any institution, any religious institution that's trying to insert themselves into your dynamic. So for some of you, this like religious institution has become a third party in your dynamic. And some of you have been beaten over the head with like, all the things, don't should on yourself. Have you ever heard that? Don't should on yourself. And that's, again, a nuanced, like important distinction to kind of pull apart. Don't should on yourself. The 10 Commandments, right? Any philosophy that you subscribe to, it shouldn't be about like shoulding on yourself. You are going to mess up. Okay, the key is not to mess up in the big ways. And this is what I'm talking about, the process of deconstructing. And have you ever done that project or whatever? Actually, I did this in church. But like where you have the jar and then you have like all these rocks and you have to figure out how to get all the rocks in the jar. And the key is you got to get the big rocks in there first. So you have to know what your priorities are in order to do that in your own human life. And I think your priority is this person, this divine relationship, this connection that you feel with this person, that you protect that. You protect them because they're important to you, not because you're married to them and God told you, and this person told you and is going to put you in front of the congregation and make you feel shame. Shame. Shame is, I think, something that was put into you. There's shame that we naturally feel, and that's helpful. Because when we grapple with that kind of shame, it leads us internal and it leads us to our values. That's what it highlights. Because usually when you feel shame or when you feel guilt, it's because you've gone against your values in some way. That's very helpful. But when it's shame that's been pushed into you by a religious leader, it's not helpful. And you kind of push against it very naturally. So it's pulling apart like these nuanced kind of things, And the same thing I just heard happens when you are transgressed against, because you can be transgressed against in a way that deeply offends you to your core. And I think maybe this is a place where you've bumped up against, like with you and another person, where somebody is like, absolutely the hell no, this offends me to my core because there is right and there is wrong. And what was done here, it's not just a whoopsie whoops. This is like, there's something wrong. And I think they're misreading that in you because you don't want to be out here being a menace to society or like being a menace to their life or like anything like that. You have been fighting your own struggles. You've been fighting your own battles. And I'm just seeing you struggling to kind of come up for air. And also that's making me think of this meme that I love. And I return to it sometimes when I need a good laugh. But it's that classic meme. There's a little girl and she's, in the water and she's like learning how to swim, you can tell, and she's like trying to keep tread water to keep her mouth above the water to breathe. And it's like me asking, oh no, that's a different one, sorry. It's this person that's treading the water and there's the dolphin that's like following it, and it's like me bothering all my friends and family with like philosophical questions. I think you could have been a child that was I just heard playful and very smart, and you actually had a lot of questions, and actually it superseded what the level of consciousness that these people were at, because they just are like, I don't know, I never thought about that, like why can't you just accept that it's because grandpa said that to me and I'm saying it to you, or because we go to church and that's what the preacher says, and we just open our ears and we just let all the shit go in there and we don't have any filter as to whether or not you like it or whether you need more information. None of that. You were just expected almost like not to have a filter. And so I think you just rebelled. This feels like a naughty group, but it feels like it comes from being very intelligent and pent up in that energy and not having like a place to put it. And so this is not something that you should feel ashamed about. And I think that it's like they're showing me something like just crinkled up. It's like crinkled up here because you were trying to understand, but it just, the resources like were not available to you, I think, when you were young, about how to help you. Because values are guiding lights, right? And this is what I learned in therapy. Values are guiding lights, and they help us to meet our goals and to feel proud of ourselves. And so a lot of times when we feel like we're not enough and we feel like we're struggling, it's because we are not living up to our values. And sometimes our values can be in contradiction to one another, where it's like, well, I have a value to spend more time with my friends and family that I love, but I also have a value to meet this certain goal at work or to have a roof over my head. And I have to work 80 hours a week to do that now. So that's conflicting. And that's why I feel guilt and shame, is because I can't meet both of my values. And so if I can just look at that clearly and see that I'm in a no-win situation, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I can have more conscious conversations, and I can ask for grace, and I can try to meet that in a way, but at least I know where that comes from. And it's something that's not in your control. You see what I'm saying? But this is like, I think this all comes down to values and like really sorting through that. So I think you're realizing this. And I think, like I said, I think this is actually a very good sign that you're feeling the guilt, and you have to parse through it and you have to give yourself grace. And just like I said, the grace is coming from understanding that you had to defend yourself against something here. And you did try. I'm hearing that for this group. You did try when you were young to ask the right questions. And it's like you were met with this like blunt intelligence. You have this very movable intelligence, and you were met with this very like, my grandpa told me that, I'm telling you that, you'll tell your kids that, do times change? Doesn't matter. Does, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and yeah. And you could see like the wrongness of it, but then nobody like helped you sort that out at a key time. And that's the guilt that you're feeling, I think, is that, because now now that you're pulled away from that fight, because that's what it feels like it is. Fight for autonomy, fight for independence. Just like that little girl was like fighting to keep her head above the water. Like you were in that fight. You were in survival mode in some way. So you couldn't free your energy up to actually thrive. to actually self-actualize, to actually become yourself. Okay, I just heard actually. So you could have also been corrected a lot like that as a child, like actually, or like maybe that's you. And you've developed that actually kind of persona because actually these people were talking a bunch of nonsense out their butt, and like you knew it when you were a kid and you couldn't stand up for yourself then, but you absolutely come with receipts now kind of thing. That is the remnant of you having to push up against it. So you kind of were given a crappy hand is what I'm getting. And you should give yourself grace about that because you had to dig yourself out of a hole in a way before you could process the values that you actually hold. And I think that's when you messed up. And I think that's when you have a lot of these things that you feel shame about, that you're keeping secret. And there's a preservation as well, because with the oceany water, the salt water, it preserves a lot of stuff, So something here is like being kind of preserved. And I think it was preserved for the time that here you are. And you can actually deal with this because you have the perspective. And I'll never forget the first like energy healing session that I ever went to in my life. I was at Omega Institute for Holistic Studies. And I was like, when in Rome, like I was kind of curious about it. And I just happened to be able to take this like session or whatever. And when she was doing whatever to me, and I actually felt certain things and I was like crying and stuff and confused about what was happening. It was wild. God bless that woman. She's really great. But anyways, she was like, oh, but you're here now. She's like, your inner child is so confused. She was like laughing. She was describing me perfectly like as a child. And then she was like, you are here now. She says, oh, but you're here now. And you're the adult that's going to walk her out of it. She was always looking for that. And now it's you. And you're going to come in and say, nobody's picking on you. Anybody that wants to try, I'm here now. They got to go through me. And I'm never going to let anybody touch you again. Boom. And that's you now. You're here and you're like, no, I'm not confused. I'm not confused, and you can shush it with all your whatever. Like, that's what it is. And you're actually, what it is that I think you've uncovered the overlap. That's where the shame's coming from with something here that you've done. You've uncovered the overlap of actually, I do believe in this. I do believe that someone should be this way. They should live up to these of the 10 commandments. And I don't really care about these other ones. But these ones I do care about, and I've transgressed against them. I've transgressed against my own consciousness, and potentially I've transgressed against people, places, and things that I actually really do love and value. But this is information to have about yourself. And is it like stingy? This is kind of reminding me of like a cut that a lot of bacteria has gotten in, and it's like you get some like rubbing alcohol on there, and it's like, oof, like it really stings, but it's healing. Like it's healing in you. And I feel that I think you may have also bumped up against where somebody else, because they do know themselves. I think that they are they're more progressed than you. And you have transgressed against somebody in a way where they feel absolutely like you've offended some core part of them, like their core values. And this is a person who defends their values. And they're like, I don't want to be around people who do not uphold these certain values. I think you've bumped up against one of them or multiple of them. And kind of bounced off of it. There's a real love here. And so I don't think that you know how to bridge that gap. And what I want to say to you as well, again, this is part of like having grace with yourself. And it's a part of really going through the process and allowing the sting and allowing your own wound to heal I think you will know what to say. If you want to rekindle this, or if you want to apologize, and if you want to reveal certain things, when you are at the end of your own processing cycle, where you need to be your number one focus of like, okay, I got a lot of healing to do, and I'm carrying around a lot of this shame, and it's noxious, like to my own inner self. And just like I was saying at the end of pile number 1, I believe that part of the way that we clear up our karmas, I think it's the slower process that we have to incarnate like lifetime after lifetime, and like we have to plant these old patterns. I think you can take your healing into your own hands. I think that you can go hermit mode. I think that you can really learn a lot of things. You can have a strong focus. I think you can burn through a lot of karma in a single lifetime. And it's just because you are literally no longer that person. The person who did that, who dis, new phone, who dis, like you're not them. You just aren't. That's the forgiveness. That's the I'm sorry. And it's so much more powerful than I'm sorry, will you please forgive me? Let me just dump all my secrets on you. That's going to be more traumatic. And that's not the best way to go about healing this. The best way to go about healing this is to literally and actually become a different person, where in being put in the same scenarios again, you would live out your values that you now know are your values. The person that you want to be. the kind of family that you want to have, the kind of community that you want to live in. You know what that looks like in your head, and you know the kind of person that you want to be and you are willing to be in order to actually have that. You've seen the devil energy in this, like, it kind of gives pissant, like flicking somebody in the face. I just heard, I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. So, and that's what it feels like, that teenage angst, but you're not a teenager anymore. And you don't have to just be like, yeah, whatever. Like, I have my hair jet black and like, you don't get me. And I'm super emo. Like, you have other recourse now. You're an adult. You have your own space. You have you write your own opinions and things like that. And so you don't have to be being in that teenage energy. It's like being, again, like over. And I also just heard you have a lot of karma, like a lot of karmic contracts you can break, like over here, to where you're not going to come back in with those people because you've learned what you needed to learn, which is that they push stuff into you. And some of the stuff they pushed into you, you didn't need them to push into you to begin with, because you would have actually like come around to it if you were just allowed your own mind. This is another thing. And I kind of mean this political. Okay, I do. Everything in life, literally everything, is meaningless without choice. Okay, if I can somehow force you into behaving correctly, like the Christian church tried to do, of like, just with all like the guilt and the shame. I know a lot of you have lived through that. Like, it's meaningless, because personally, I think that's such a human perspective, and like the worst kind of human perspective, because I think that God genuinely loves us. And I think that God genuinely wants to have a relationship with us. And I think that God is ever patient. And we pick up, like, say all these third party situations that we pick up on, and it makes you feel like not chosen. I think that's how God feels, like literally all the time when we turn away from God. But I think that God's love is so pure and so real and so authentic that we are loved through that. We are allowed the space and we are allowed the grace to go through our process. And yes, we go through hard things, but it's also just like, I was a toddler teacher for a long time, and there was like 8 toddlers and me, because God has a sense of humor. But like, they made so many stupid mistakes, and you really have to let them make their stupid mistakes. And they would climb up on things that were so dangerous, but they're using their muscles and they're learning how to explore, and they're learning that they can fall on their butt and be just fine. And it's important that they learn that. And if I'm constantly in there trying to like protect them from everything, they're never going to just learn that and just kind of laugh it off. And, it's that. I feel like that's God's way with us. But it all hinges on choice. I feel if you don't choose to love God, and if you don't choose to behave in a way that doesn't create karma with individuals, if that's not your choice, it is meaningless. And I just don't think that it means anything about your spiritual. Who cares? It doesn't reflect who you are as a person, which is, to me, why we're here, to alchemize ourselves. And we need this kind of constant feedback. So yes, we do bad things. And it's important that you have the feedback of fuck you for doing that. It's important that you have that, because we're all learning here. We're all toddlers shoving things in our mouths, falling off of stuff, shit in our pants. Like, that's just us. That's what we're doing. And you can't hate yourself for requiring that process. You can't. You just can't. It's unproductive and it hurts you. It's not about self-hatred. And I think it's about holding all of it here in the balance too. It is appropriate if you've transgressed against someone and it just hits them right to their core, and they know what they're worth, and they know that they don't deserve that. And they know that there's something wrong. And, over here that they got treated a certain way. You can't fault them for that. And I think part of you are like, yeah. And that might be inspiring you. And that's the process that you're a part of, and while also, and even these people over here that were like pushing stuff like all onto you in your childhood, they are on the level of consciousness that they're at, and they need to have the experiences, but they have to be free to make choice, and they have to be free to fall on their butt when they make those choices. This is just like the First Amendment in America. Yes, you have the right to free speech, but you are not free of the consequences of like people thinking you're stupid or people not wanting to frequent your business. So that it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be put to death. You shouldn't be put in jail because you have spoken your mind. Okay, liberty requires that, but it also, like, you're still going to get the feedback that you need to get, and that's a beautiful system, and I don't know why I want to say this, but also like the First Amendment in the US, it does not cover hate speech. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I think it's good. I love that, kind of like doctrine, but anyways, yeah. Oh, and so free speech might be a thing. It's like I think this is what you needed in your childhood. Like you needed to feel free to speak your mind. That's another thing is I think you were genuinely confused about certain things, and you needed to speak your mind without judgment and like just, okay, well, let's go into that. You know, like let's from start to finish, like let's start there. Instead, I think you got met with a bunch of like, oh my God, how could you ever think that? And you're like, I'm 10 and I don't know anything about the world, is how I could think that, you know? And yeah, because I'm actually snapping back to like my youth group pastors. I had the best youth group pastors, even though it was like very, you know, Christian-y and everything. And they always listened to me. And they always, I would say some weird stuff. Like I really would, like reading the scriptures and things. And people would tell me that. They were like, you have a very interesting way with scripture. And they never judged me about that. They would always say, well, that's really interesting. That's not how I look at it, but isn't that what we love about scripture, is that everybody can kind of look at it and get something different? And I feel like that was so important for my own, like that my mind wasn't squashed, and so many people's minds are squashed or they're made to feel bad about it. But yeah, so I feel like this is potentially religious trauma. But you're realizing that it's not black and white. It's not one or the other. It's not because this hurt you so bad, and it also stunted your mind in a way that you find suffocating and like unforgivable. And so it's not just like, well, so I reject all of that. It's like, no, when you leave the church, you go through a deconstruction process where you're like, what if this, I'm not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. What if this actually resonates with me, and why? And that's the process of knowing yourself. And that's what this is, even though I feel like it's coming through with pain and it's coming through with shame. And I think some of you are, again, it's like that mirror of like, this person is like, oh, I know my values. And I know I know my yeses and my nos. And you don't. Or you didn't. And that's, you actually feel a kinship with this person. You actually get it. You actually feel an overlap. And I think that's what you want to reveal. But also there's some bad things that you did, a decision that was made. Yeah, Five of Swords. And you're just like, what was I thinking? Why did I do that? Like, because you are deconstructing now. Maybe you've gotten far enough away from whatever this is. And so you are actually doing it. And so this is what I'm talking about as well. When I talk about building up that spiritual lens and that spiritual perspective, is that this feels like shit probably right now. But when you look at it from the spiritual perspective, this is progress. This is healing. People describe like a healing crisis because it's like when you rip the Band-Aid off and you see something for what it is and you're like, you're like, oh my God. But it gives you the truth that you need to grapple with to actually heal it. And so if you want to have a conversation, I don't know that that's even necessary, to be honest, in this lifetime, because I think when you get on the other side, if you do this right and if you fully complete your process, and this feels very hermit, you are going to become a different person. And I think that's going to just show. Because when we're on the other side, it's my understanding, because I listen to the Journey of Souls at night to go to sleep whenever I think about it. And that they all say that it's like very telepathic on the other side, and things just don't really need to be explained. And they're going to get it. They're going to get it. They're going to know. And like any of these like egoic blocks. And so I think, okay, so I'm hearing things like, yeah, I just feel like this person set a hard boundary, but you're meeting those requirements. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want anybody like this around me, but you're changing yourself, and it's like not a problem. It's not going to be a problem moving forward. So I just felt like, because this is like, it was the Lover's card that came out, and it was the Hierophant card. It's like, there's a strong divine connection here. Hierophant to me, it's like intuition. And also there could have been like the Hierophant with the negative side of things of you got to do this and you got to do that actually caused you to sin, to error, to transgress against your own values. There could be both of those overlapping here. Where actually like your own heart, you knew what was right for you. You knew how people should be treated in a situation, right? But it's like, it was like, ugh. And you're getting rid of that in order to enter into some kind of, this really feels divine unity, you know, like, or just, even if it's not romantic or anything, it's just somebody that is your vibes, somebody that's on your level, somebody that you want to be around, and you want to nurture that relationship, and you don't want to have to be guilted or forced into something because somebody else is like, this is holy, when really it's actually wrong, and it's crimped up. It's like, well, yeah. And so I kind of feel like this person needs to walk away. I think this is really to do with another person. They do need to walk away. They're headed towards their sun energy, their independence, their health, their healing, their own philosophy, possibly something to do with career. And you're in this 8 of Cups, and you want this person to come back. This person shouldn't come back. Why? Because it's in the swampy. The swampy is where the guilt is. And also there's a negative group here, and this person can't come back, and you are actually supposed to follow suit. Get up out. But you're getting up, you're following in this person's footsteps. That's what it is. I just heard pick up your cross and follow me, which is what Jesus said to all of us. And that to me is like, we all have, the cross is a symbol of where the horizontal plane, which is the world, the earthly plane, meets with the heavenly plane. Pick up your cross and follow me, the place where they intersect. Pick up your own shit and just walk it into the light. That's it. That's what I feel like Jesus's message was. And I feel like Jesus, one of the things that I find so appalling is I think that he was like, I don't think he was trying to be like, and I'm the son of God. I think he was like, we're all children of God. We are all children of the son. And I'm doing this and you can do this too. Okay. Like that's, I think, the message. And it gets lost when, anyways, I digress. So, yeah, with this like group, there's a negative group here. And I do think that you need to untangle yourself from these karmics that you are associates with because of whatever was taught to you as a child. And this even could be things around loyalty, like narcissistic groups where there's a narc, they run on loyalty, because if it runs on like, you're going to treat me appropriately, and if you don't, I'm leaving, then nobody's going to be around the narcissist, right? So that's all it is. It's control. It's mind games. And it dresses itself up as codes of conduct or codes of behavior, but the heart is missing. It's hollow. And you'll notice when the narc gets called out, and even the flying monkeys will kind of flip. It's like, oh, well, and then it'll caveat this and it'll caveat that. I just heard it was real the day I wore a vest from Mean Girls. When they're like, you're wearing sweatpants. You can't do that. And it's like, those rules aren't real. I just made them up. And it's like, it was real the day I wore that vest. So, yeah. And I feel like you just need to up and leave. So there could be a catty group here as well, where it's just like this mean girl bullshit. And it's like, oh yeah, but I mean, you can't just walk away. You have to be loyal. And if you're not loyal, then we think that you're a bad person. Meanwhile, this is how they behave. There's like no self-awareness. So I feel like that's the reason why this person's not supposed to come back. You have to let them go. You have to realize that they're headed in the right direction and that you're right behind them. And that's the healing journey. And sun has this like potent, antibacterial healing kind of quality. And that's what you guys are going to go over there, and you're going to get rid of all the slime and goo that these people put upon you. There's victory. You're going to have victory. Okay. And I feel like that just calmed you down. Like if this is truly a divine counterpart, this is somebody that your heart naturally loves, because you're the same as what I'm hearing. Like you get each other. Nobody had to force you to be with this person, or this person didn't have to trap you with a baby or bludgeon you with a Bible or like anything. You just naturally like this person. That's your inner guidance, right? And you're dusting it off. That's what spirit is saying. Remember I said like you have secrets, but spirit has secrets that it's trying to teach you. It's trying to show you these things. And I do feel that this connection is preserved. This connection is safe, and you have to go through your process, and it's bumping up against each other in just the right ways, but it's going to be preserved. It's just get up out of whatever this swamp is. Swamp is code for guilt. Yeah, 8 of Cups. Yes, there's so much healing energy here. There's victory is assured, is what I'm hearing. And I feel like that just relaxed your energy. So now that you know that, you can put that down of this like, oh shit, like I really fucked something up. Like I was trapped in whatever this is and I really fucked something up, something I really shouldn't have. You are doing your karma. It's for you to work out. Just the way that I said, you're going to become a person who, going through the same situations, you would never do that because you just know better. And when you know better, you do better. It's not even something that you want because it's not something that you value. It's not something that you resonate with, and you would never throw up. I think that's what you learned here, is it is absolutely stupid. And like, it makes no sense to throw over something you actually love and something you want for the long term for something that you don't really care about. It doesn't resonate with your values. I feel like you're kind of appalled at your behavior. You're just kind of like, I literally wasn't thinking. I don't know what I was thinking, but I wasn't thinking. It feels like a state of unconsciousness. Yeah, and so it's just one foot in front of the other, and you're going to be good. You're going to be fine. Yeah. And I feel like there's some kind of tower energy here as well. Some kind of sudden shocking energy, and maybe this is you popping up on this person's radar, like in just the right way. But I feel like you needed to know that. You needed to know that this connection is safe, and it's reassured, and so it frees you up to do your work, to be gentle with yourself and to be grace and to find the truth and the answers that you seek. Yeah. And I think you need to be independent. And I actually think that you forged a lot of karmic relationships. So I think you're about cutting ties with that and finding your happiness and your strength in and of yourself. I think for this group, you got pulled in by other people's bullshit. So it's learning how to stand strong in yourself because, okay, now you know your values. You have to be able to back them up. So you have to be fine being independent. You have to be fine if you're the one person. I was telling my husband this story. I was in a marketing class once. And so we did this taste test between Fruit Loops, the brand, and then the knockoff Fruit Loops, and we had blindfolds on, and they were like, and raise your hand which one you like better. And I was the only one that raised my hand for the knockoff one. But it's like, you have to just be like, yes, I like the discount brand better. Like if that's what you like, you know. Or I remember this in 4th grade, the smartest kid in my class, which should have been like something, there was a question that the teacher asked and we had to raise our hands like what we thought the answer was, and literally the whole classroom raised their hand for the wrong answer, and he was the only one that raised his hand for the right answer. And my teacher stopped the class after that and she was like, we learned something here today, that if you think something's right, you should go with it. He thought that he was right and he was the only one that was right. Like the crowd is not always right, you know. So I think that's what you need, is like you're learning how to be independent. Possibly this is like in self-reliant as well. So, because maybe for some of you, it's like, well, somebody controls the purse strings. So you allowed them to control your decisions, your moral compass, things like where you were located, things like that really have a huge bearing on your life. So you have to be able to withstand that. And it's just by learning how to stand on your own 2 feet. Again, giving yourself a lot of grace and things like that. That's what's going to lead to love. I think you have to learn how to be okay on your own here as well. And just to have your own back and to really know the caverns of your own mind. So it's strong hermit energy here. And I think this person needs to learn how to defend themselves. And that I think had to do with this group. Karmically speaking, nothing is wasted. So I feel like this person, like, this might have been the person that was like, I love the discount brand, you know? And they're just putting up their walls. They have to learn how to defend themselves is what I'm hearing from negative energies, from negative entities I'm hearing. Yeah, that tries to like destabilize them. I think this is them being a couple steps ahead of you, because this looks like that same journey. This looks like I have to learn how to be on my own. I think they might have dealt with like, I don't know, financial instability or where do I live? You know, this is very earthy. It's like, do I live here? Do I live here? What do I do? And look, but this higher one is like the spiritual one. Do I trust my intuition or do I trust my fear? You know, and this person I think is in this Queen of Cups stage. Yes. And they're going to get a rebirth. There's rebirth energy and then there's quick results. And I think that that's going to mirror in your connection when you just kind of like follow suit. But, yeah, you want to go towards this person, but you have to understand that you're on your own journeys for now. And it's going to be productive. And this is a divine connection. And you know it in your heart now. And you know what went wrong. And so this is about like debriefing with yourself. So you understand what went wrong, but you have to like peel back the layers of the onion, go back and back and back to like the root of it, which is all the things that I'm saying in the 9 of Pentacles. I think you have to learn how to be single. For some of you, like learn how to be okay in your own company. It's Breaking Codependency by Melanie Beattie. Some of you, I don't know if it's, or Codependency Be Gone or Codependency No More. You might want to read that book by Melanie Beattie. Beattie. I think is how you spell her last name. Don't quote me on that. Or just look up a bunch of quotes on Goodreads. But yeah, it's like breaking codependency, which has to do with like, it's almost like you're building your own curriculum, you know? What am I going to do for work? I think some of you are going to become entrepreneurs, or like you're going to learn how to do that. And that's so that these people, these negative people around you can't control your decisions. Because I think these people are trying to do that. But what they do is they apply pressure. They apply force. And they try to, I just heard move the goalposts, but they try to control the frame. That's what it is. And you were susceptible to that from the religious trauma in your upbringing. So they try to control the frame as to how you're looking in order to control your decisions. So this all comes back to decisions, is that you got to get these parasites off of your decisions. It's like that's what they're attached to. And so your decisions, I think up until this point, don't actually reflect you. And they don't actually reflect your values. And they don't actually reflect your talents and your strengths. Because it's these people that are trying to keep you dependent. And they're trying to keep you on your knees. And they're trying to keep you weak and like attached to them. And that's why you have this secretive existence too, is because it keeps you stuck. This is like you're stuck in a survival rebel kind of mindset, you know, because these people have created this dependency in you. And really, this is kind of the thing, you know, when you figure out that you have like something mentally going on and you thought that you had 15 problems, but then you realize like, I'm a touch OCD. Like that's what that is. And it all comes back to this one thing. And then now all of a sudden you're empowered because you can look up worksheets and like workbooks, and you can talk to your therapist about like, I think I'm having a flare up. You know, I can't stop thinking about this thing. I'm like mentally picking over and over. and then you have like all of a sudden you have the tools because you know what the root is. That's what this feels like. And it feels like the root is this dependency, but you've thought that the root is your behavior, and it kind of is, but you've had to, you're forever stuck. I just heard it again. I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. So the dirtbag part of that is like, you feel shame. You're not free. Like that's what this group is. You're not free to make your own decisions. And because of that, the part of you that is you is still going to come out, but it only can come out as a rebel energy. And you may really resonate with the archetype of the rebel, but I'm seeing that Caroline Mist deck where it's like it follows its intuition. Like the light version of that rebel energy is like, I think it's something like reject systems that do not serve inner needs. And I feel like that's what you're looking at doing, but you probably have this idea of yourself as the rebel, and it's stunted. It's tired. You've done it, is what I'm hearing. It's tired. You've done it. You've progressed past the rebel, but the rebel is childish. And it's because of this dependency. And if you cut free from this dependency, the part of you that is you would not have to rebel in order to be itself and then hide itself in terms of secrets. It could just exist, It could just exist. To where it's not shameful. You're not like forever masturbating in your room at like 13, It's like, I'm in my own home. Do you know how many times I've heard that? I'm in my own home. Like, I'm not hurting anybody by just existing in my own home, because that's adult energy, where you don't have to rebel. And I feel like you might maybe have even, because you're trying to break free from this cycle, this could show up in a lot of different parts of your life. Like you probably get into relationships where you feel stifled, and you feel stifled by somebody's beliefs, and then maybe there's that, it feels very religious. There's that community aspect of like, you can't divorce this person. Yeah, they're not your divine counterpart and you don't love them, but because of all these arbitrary things that don't fit your inner needs and stuff, like, yeah, that's what it feels like. It's a lot. This is like religious trauma, I think. Yeah, I keep hearing that. I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. Yeah. Rebel is not going with the crowd, but going what you feel is right, not what others think is best for you. And actually just reading that, it like clicks something in for me, because a rebel is like going against the crowd, but this is a group that actually goes with the crowd quite a bit. And I don't think you see that clearly about yourself, because I think you're like, I have to fight for my existence and I'm a rebel and I have to, but you're still hiding it and you still tolerate these people's presence in your life, when I think that you could just be like, fuck. Chucked it. And it's harder than it seems, okay? Because you have very real practicalities, like, I mean, I cut ties with my family. I moved away from home. Like, I just did a clean sweep of a lot. But it's scary because you don't have a safety net. And again, like with this rebel energy, and you want to talk about getting a rush, you want to talk about having an adventure, try doing that. Because you're like, I literally have no idea how this is going to go for me. Ready or not, that's the real rebel energy. But I feel like this is actually like even distorted, perverted, small rebel energy, where it's like, I'm such a rebel. And meanwhile, this healthy person over here is like, actually, I'm a rebel. And because I got away from all of that. I'm just successful at it. This is what successful rebellion looks like. We have liberty over here. I just heard live free or die. Live free or die. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Pile number 2. Okay, I'm going to put this pile select up. And actually, I'm going to take a break for a moment. Just take a glimpse of this in your mind, and I will be right back. Welcome back. Okay, so I'm just going to put that up there. We are doing pile number 3. So if you are just joining us, we already did the first 2 piles. So if you want to go back and watch those, you just hit the timing perfectly if you just want to be able to watch through. Yeah. So moving on to pile number 3. If you guys like that picture, you can get it on Society 6. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get one. We should all get one and just have it in our homes. And that'll be like the chaos energy. You just do what you want to. We don't have to all do the same things as each other, but it's kind of cute. Okay, so moving into pile number 3. Messages from your guides. And we'll compassion. Compassion, compassion, compassion. Okay. Okay, this is it, right? The lover and the seed. Immediately what I'm seeing from this is like, okay, because this is the lover and it's the swan energy, and then we got the seed, and I'm just picturing like the bird seed. Oh, I just heard The Birdcage. I love that movie. Some of you might want to watch The Birdcage just for humor. Oh, okay. So this obviously won't be for everybody, but I'm seeing a James Charles song. Yes, James Charles. I can't remember what it is. It's something Friends, but obviously like he's a gay man. The song is about a gay relationship, but he was like, you promised me that I wasn't just an experiment. But like you're still with her, but like repeating like an old cycle. So that's just for somebody. That message is coming through, especially if this is like maybe a gay relationship, or and maybe somebody's bi, or like, I don't know, you didn't want to be an experiment, but then like, yeah, and there was a betrayal and like that person moved forward. There's something for you to break free from. Even if not, I feel like the same thing could still apply. Let me get more. James Charles. Listen, I don't know why I know that song, but it like popped up on my, actually I do. It like popped up on my YouTube feed one day, and I was like, James Charles? And then, like I listened to it, and honestly it was a pretty good song. It was. I was surprised, but it was, and it was like very artsy music video. They were like dancing all around. They were kind of like that Pink style music video with the interpretive dance kind of thing. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Half the people are like, I gotta go watch that. Okay. He told me he was gay. Interesting. Okay. So, so for pile number 3, what do your guides want to say? Okay, yeah, there's some kind of message. Being left out in the cold. Interesting. I feel like some of you have received a message about like being left out in the cold, and you don't know like what you want to say, and there's like some kind of blockage, and you're like, maybe you felt blindsided by this, and something here requires some kind of further thought. You're trying to figure out why that was or something. There's a lot of 2s here. Yeah, because you feel like this like kind of strong partnership energy. Maybe you felt like something here was a wish fulfillment and like some kind of new beginning in teamwork, and maybe all like that you built and things. Yeah. And it's because I feel like there needs to, this is this hangman energy where you're being kind of like thinking about something, I'm hearing like what went on. For some, okay, this is weird relationships, like niche, there's a lot of different niche relationships that are kind of coming through. And I feel like you were kind of blindsided by something. For some of you, this is like a pregnancy. Like this was a relationship that was like kind of placed together by pregnancy, and you thought that it was love, but it was really like obligation or something. I don't know. There's something here about not understanding the undercurrent of like what's actually kind of going on here. I don't know. It feels like something here you needed to think about. You need to see this from a different lens, because yeah, there's a betrayal. There's a 3 of Swords. There's a heartbreak here. For some of you, Okay. For some of you, I don't know if this was done to you or if there was like some kind of underhanded narcissistic move in order to take someone else's partner, in order to fuse together a relationship that was never meant to be. And that was either done to you or it somehow affected you. And it was a betrayal because somebody here loved somebody else or they loved something else. And it kept them from being able to live out their own heart or something here like that. Yeah, now there's karmic rebalancing like that's coming through in regards of this. This feels very fragmented. It feels like maybe I'm supposed to be talking to like different kind of groups of people. So only take what resonates for your situation. Because again, I feel like there's maybe little snippets that's coming through. I think that you could be very focused on this person as being your success, because I think some of you wanted to be seen in a certain way, like you wanted to be seen as a lover, or you wanted to be seen as being partnered with this person. So you actually sabotaged them. You actually betrayed them. And you wanted to bury that, is kind of what I'm getting, like in the past, that you kind of did this on purpose, but it's like you did whatever you did and then like you never thought about it again, that is actually what you did. And then you tried to tell yourself this lie and present this lie that it was something and that the two of you were together for reasons that you're not. It's not the real reason. Like, and the truth of this situation is not being dealt with. Like, of the truth of maybe how you feel about each other, how the two of you got together, why the two of you are together. It wouldn't be a long thing. It would not have been a longevity thing had there not been this betrayal and where you isolated this person, or this was done to you, or for some of you, this was done to your lover. And that's why they're in a certain situation. And that's why they betrayed you. And that's why they betrayed their own heart. There's kind of overlaps here with pile number 2. And so that's why I'm kind of like, I want to get new energy here for pile number 3. Yeah, there's something here that you're not understanding. Okay, so I'm going to get new energy, Spirit. Do I want to get a different deck? I'm hearing Ariana Grande, We Can't Be Friends. I'll wait until you like me again. Wait for your love. Okay, I want new energy. There just keeps being this old energy. Let me just compassion this space. Compassion. Some of you just maybe are drawn to pile number 2. They're telling me, no, there's a different message that's coming out for this one. Some kind of hidden truth. Possibly like with a lover. All right, Spirit, what's the tea? Crying over you. Sad, hurt, upset. Okay, so this is definitely coming through like as an individual. Somebody here has a message that they want to say to you, but they can't say it. And I think it's for the reasons that I've already talked about. And the thing is, I don't think it's relevant. And so I'm trying to get away from that, where it's like, okay, like we already processed through this in pile 2, but it feels to me like this person's like, no, we didn't process through it. There's certain things that I can't say, but I want to say because I'm hurt by this. And you don't know the truth about why I moved away from you, or I don't know where you're at in this dynamic, because it feels like somebody is tied together with somebody that pulled some kind of weird narcissistic move on them to trap them in a longevity relationship or in some kind of dynamic, because they wanted to be attached to this person and they wanted to be seen as the person who gets this person or the person who is next to this person. So they betrayed them. Again, they buried it. They never thought about it again. And so that they can play pretend to themselves, to each other, and to everybody else that they're together because of love reasons and because of God reasons and because of like whatever reasons. And it's just not the case. So I feel like this person wants somebody here to know that. So if you were in a partnership where somebody did that to you and they've like kind of moved away, they've stopped playing pretend, they popped the bubble of the fantasy, and you're like, wait a second, I thought that we were in love. I kind of feel like you were never in love. I feel like maybe, yeah, because this is not the energy of love that I'm picking up on. This is the energy of control. This is the energy of, again, a predator that like wants to clap somebody in the jaws, and then they keep their kind of like a spider puts the venom into somebody in order to keep them paralyzed. Like that's kind of like the energy of what I'm getting. That's what's going on here. And boy, is it far away from love. And I think that somebody else here was like kept from expressing what they really wanted in the world overall. But I think they're in love with someone else. What's coming through here, Spirit? Ignoring. Somebody has been ignoring something for a long time is what it feels like. And They don't want to play the game anymore. This person's uninterested. Somebody here, I don't know what's going on here. I almost feel like I'm not hitting the nail on the head with this one because it's coming through so fragmented. Like I said, I feel like there's different lover situations. Somebody here is uninterested in playing pretend anymore. Possibly with a thief. Or, yeah. And somebody here like thinks that they're brokenhearted about this, but they're actually ego bruised about the situation. That's all it is. So it's not that there's not emotions that are coming out. It's just that, and somebody here could be ignoring this. So like somebody here's like ego is just bruised and they feel hurt or they feel called out and they feel exposed and they want things to go back because it's a pride issue. It's not like they want things to be resolved because it's a pride issue, but they're using words like emotional. So I don't know if this is you. I don't know if this is somebody who's dealing with you. Karmic friends. Can't fully trust them. Tension. Secret competition. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Yeah, because I feel like there's a secret competition that somebody was in, possibly with somebody else, maybe a friends group, somebody that maybe was actually loved in this situation, and they cock blocked. Or they were trying to cock block. And they were trying... And then it feels like they sat and watched this. There's a lot of evilness that's coming through here. They made a bunch of stuff up. They were trying to force their way in between people, or they were trying to force to get what they wanted. Somebody here was actually using force. And then they want to turn around and act like they're sweet or that they're innocent or that was divine and that it was God. But really it was them and it was their ego. And their ego was actually feeling bruised. They didn't love this person at all. I don't know who I'm describing here. I'm sorry. I know this message is all over the place. This could have been a friend. Somebody who maybe had feelings or something here, but they don't actually love this person. There was a narcissism in wanting to bind themselves to this person or be seen with this person or get in between a couple that actually loved each other, or there was the actual chemistry or there was actual warmth, and waste somebody's time here. They never change as well. This is somebody who never changes. And possibly this is somebody that just maybe is abusing the tarot. Why are you bringing this up? Impersonator and moving on. There's a strong moving on energy where something has been traced, I think, like back and back and back and back and back to understand like the root of this behavior. It's seen. In some way, shape, or form, it's seen. And I don't know, like, if whoever did this, there was like an echo created, is what I'm getting. Like, in the ether or something, like whenever they did whatever they did, and it was narcissistic, and it was selfish, and it was for all the wrong reasons. And there was like some kind of echo where it was like, da 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 da, like where it kind of kept repeating or something. And it's seen that they're trying to impersonate something or someone. Maybe it's this lover energy in order to steal something or someone, possibly even like to steal money. And they're irritated here with this, like your light irritates their demons. I don't know where you're at in this. I don't know if somebody did this to you, but whoever they were targeting is like moving on and they're making healthier choices and stuff. But then this person is like creeping. So there's this like creepy creeper energy to where, and it's not coming from the right place. And I think this person is confusing their fixation with love. It bothers them that this person is unbothered as well. They're a wolf in sheep's clothing. This is a predator. So I don't know if your guides are alerting you to the fact that this is happening. So this could be a person that tried to cock block you, that tried to get in between you and someone else. And we had the karmic friends come out. So it could have been a friend, or this even could be a friend's group. It doesn't have to be romantic. They tried to come between you and another friend. They are a wolf in sheep's clothing. And I think the clothing that they wear is an impersonator cloth, a impersonator of like a loving energy or of like a starter energy with a seed. I think this person plants seeds in people's minds that kind of like are meant to unfurl. But that is what created that ripple effect is what I'm hearing. And where it's being traced back to them, some kind of negative seed that they planted. And it feels like through what they didn't say. They said enough and then they try to imply something. And that's like being seen clearly, that they're actually impersonating something in order to take. That's being seen very clearly here. Something here, because something here's been played out. Why is this coming through, Spirit? Wheel of Fortune. So the divine hand of God is in this. And I feel like somebody here is going to be falling off of this wheel. And somebody else here is, oh yeah, like whatever they tried to interfere with is actually being brought together. And there's nothing you can do to stop this. It's actually very divinely guided. Because somebody here, like they're waiting for their ships to come in. So if you successfully got in between two people, they're like waiting for their ships to come in with each other. And they're going to be like happy. They're going to be happy together. And they're going to defend themselves. Okay, so I think that these people are actually on the same page about defending themselves against whoever did this. Whether it's you or it's somebody else. And maybe this was all happening and you didn't even realize. Yeah, because they both want a passionate new beginning. And I don't know if these are friends or they're both wanting this passionate beginning. They want things to be healed and they want you out of it. Or if this isn't you, you're one of these people. It's seen very clearly, like what's gone on here. Paige says, I do irritate the F out of him now on purpose, but in a soft way that he can't really say much. I just mentioned the obvious quite a bit. Oh my gosh. And tell him I wouldn't believe the Lord's prayer out of his mouth. I love that. I'm going to use that. Oh my gosh. The Wheel of Fortune came out again on the bottom. So somebody here's confused why something has changed, why their tricks are no longer working, why somebody's moved away from them, why they're not benefiting, why their thievery they are wondering how to get a victory, why they're not able to get a victory, why somebody here is sorry, why somebody wants to apologize. They're confused. And it's because I think somebody's been found out here about who they are and what they do. And I don't know that it's been confronted. I think that somebody here is just moving away from them. I just heard, I don't even care about you or like you enough to like explain that I don't like you. Somebody here is now pissed. Yeah, they're pissed because of that. They thought that something was going to be easy. They expected something to just like, maybe they paid somebody to do something here as well. To get somebody to move away from somebody else and to keep, notice how the scales of justice are imbalanced there, to imbalance justice and to have some kind of improper relationship be formed or some kind of to weight a conversation in their favor. Somebody here tried to weight justice. They tried to create injustice. They tried to create disharmony and imbalance. And the universe doesn't like that. And I also feel like this could have been some kind of cognitive dissonance. That's what they did. That's the seed. This person tried to like plant some kind of psychological seed that created disharmony in a relationship or like within somebody's own mind. And they didn't want to be seen doing it because this person's good at this. I feel like this person is good at just sort of like hinting at something here and pretending to be, they cut down what is noble. They cut down actually like firm foundation. This is a bad person. But they also wear a cloak of nobility, but they, in order to get people to trust them. And when people trust them, something precious to them is ended. And it could be this like lover situation. And they get in a situation because they trusted somebody that they shouldn't have, where they can't speak something here because of what they got like bound up in. This is an extreme karmic, and this is also somebody who knows what they're doing. Look, this person's angry about like the past. They're angry about these two little kids. There's an innocence here. Whatever this like relationship is, if this is genuinely sweet. Like there's a sweet connection here. They watched these people have a good connection and a sweet connection. Oh my gosh, look at all these cups that are being offered here. It's like love and friendship. Somebody watched this from the shadows, got really pissed, and possibly paid someone to do something or tried there again with the justice scales, tried to hold the justice scales, tried to hold the decision, tried to intervene, tried to swap out, tried to hold. Libra is the sign of relationships and conversation. Tried to hold that energy apart from these two so that they couldn't communicate equally, so that they couldn't have a relationship with each other. And instead, one of these people is stuck holding the bag, which I think is having a relationship and a conversation with this nasty ass person. Because somebody wanted to cut somebody else out. and get somebody else on the defense here. This is an extremely negative energy. Again, an energy that knows what they're doing. And again, with the swan, I watched this like nature short. It was literally a short. And somebody was like, everybody thinks that swans are like the bird of love, but really they're just dirty and territorial. And I feel like they wanted to maybe present themselves as a lover and as somebody who was like the divine counterpart, but really they're actually just dirty and territorial. They wanted to cause a painful ending, and they wanted it to be painful too. And they wanted it to be full of untruths and betrayal so that they could have somebody here, keep them under their thumb. The nobility energy. This is a person who really attacks like nobility energy. Ugh. And like strength energy, Leo energy. And they are a scorpionic energy, but they come up through Virgo energy, if that makes sense. So they're that like hidden Scorpio energy, but they come up through Virgo. So that they could routine. This could just be a person who abuses routine. So if you're a person who just like, because something's easy or because somebody's always around you, that's the person you're going to settle with, like run. Okay. Cause this is exactly how you get eaten with this person. So they'll just be up in your face every single day. They're going to wedge between you and another person. And that's the person that's just going to be in your face every single day. And because they're in your face doesn't mean that God wants them in your face. They sabotage another connection. They weaponize that energy. They could weaponize a service energy, like trying to act really helpful or being of service. They could try to present themselves like that, like Earth Angel. Virgo is a sign of the Earth Angel. Like, oh yeah, I'm just being very helpful, but really they're trying to hold the scales here, and they try to plant certain seeds here. Like, oh, I'm just trying to be really helpful. And be very wary if this is a person that's trying to say, I want to help you bridge a gap between this person. I want to help you heal your relationship. I want to help you have a conversation. No, they don't. No, they don't. They say that because it's advantageous for them in that Scorpio energy, to where you're not catching the snake. They appear Virgo. Oh, I'm just helpful. I'm just routine. And really they're a freaking snake. And you need to pull off the Virgo mask and just be like, what is this, huh? Then what is this, huh? Yeah. Because they're sabotaging. You and this person have an actual connection. It's from the past. It's so sweet and it is so genuine. Don't let anybody interfere with it. You can speak to this person. You can. This other person is so nasty, and they're targeting of this person. They're an enemy. They're a hidden enemy to this connection, to any relationship. What are they really? This is my Emperor wannabe card. This person is lacking. And that's what this person saw. And this came out in a message that I channeled. It's really good. It was one of the ones where I was like, whoa. Because a lot of these third party, I've noticed this, like I've been channeling a lot of third party messages where the third party is starting to open up and the third party is starting to speak. I still wouldn't trust this person. They're not your soulmate. They have tried to interlope on this connection, and they do need to be extra, like, removed. There's no making peace with this energy is saying, and so you're telling me that you've learned your lesson, okay? I want to see you so far away. This is reminding me of the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella with Brandy in it. And Jason Alexander is in it. You know, the guy from Seinfeld, the like short, bald guy. And he is like some kind of somebody to the king. And the mother is trying to like fluff herself up, and like she's trying to get his attention and everything at the ball. And he was like, you know, I too wish that there was something between us. And she was like, really? And he was like, yes, a continent. And I feel like that's got to be this person. If this person has learned their lesson, they're going to say, and I am so thrilled. I am deeply thrilled to be as far away from you both as humanly possible, because I recognize I'm trash. I recognize I don't belong here. I recognize that I need to go do my healing work, and let the trash take itself out. Let me take myself out of the equation. And if it's anything other than that, this person's up to their scheming again. This is a very sneaky person. And this is a person who tries to don a mask of helpfulness, service, earth angel, sweetness, repairing energy in order to exact their revenge is what I'm getting. In order to their strategy. And all they're doing is they're sowing seeds of discord. They're sowing seeds of discontent, right? I'm going to help you. And it feels like I'm going to help you bridge a gap. I'm going to help you have a conversation. I'm going to help you have a relationship. They never a day in their life intended to do that. They always, every single day of their life, intended to break up this relationship, prevent communication, attach themselves to one person and isolate the other person. They wanted to cause harm. That's who this person is. This isn't whoopsie, I made a mistake. Oh, this is why at the beginning when I was like, this kind of sounds like pile 2, and Spirit was like, there's a different message here. This is not coming from the same place. This person is evil. This person is mean. This person is intentional. This person is strategic. And there is no way of dealing with this person other than to catch the snake and throw it out of the garden. That's what you got to do. And this is also a person who is like, they act really helpful and they act really sweet. And they're doing that as a preemptive so that you feel bad and awkward for taking the proper energy towards them, which is get the fuck away from me. Oh my God, I can't believe that get the fuck away from me. I wish that there was a continent between the two of us. You're literally the face of evil. Oh my God. No, that's the kind of energy that needs to be taken to this person. I'm not telling you to abuse them. I'm just saying, do not change your mind about this person. Once you've seen this person, it's very clear, simple, direct messaging. Get the fuck away from me, my loves, my family, everything that is good and holy in this world. You will be nowhere near. I will make personally sure of it. Like, you know, that's what this has got to be. And if this was an affair situation, I am hearing Esther Perel, where the person who transgressed, and I think it was the person that was targeted to be like the lover of this person, they have to be the one that protects the boundaries of this relationship. And they have to stop inviting somebody into a beautiful connection. What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this? Literally nothing is wrong with this. There is no problems here. The problems came in when this person came in. There's no problems here. You have no barriers to entry, nothing. The problem came in with this person came in because they wanted something that wasn't theirs. And they wanted to put a barrier, something that would keep kind of growing. And this person's really just insecure. This person is really, they are lacking. And they're sad. They were really sad watching like these two people. And that's because they're envious. And they need to deal with that. And I'm hearing it's a self-esteem issue. Because this person wasn't thinking about like, what's for me in this world. I'm so glad that two people who genuinely love each other on a lot of levels, this is so beautiful. And I'm hearing he who interferes in the destiny of another thing will never find theirs. So this becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy for this person. It's literally the best thing that you can do for them to tell them to get the fuck away from you and everything that you love. Because they are missing out on their own destiny. They're so laser focused on breaking up what these two have to try to take something that's not theirs, that they're not like open to their own life. They're not open to like, where's my happiness? Whether it's with like a soulmate person, whether it's with a friend group, whether it's like being alone, they're not thinking from that perspective. And so it just keeps them in that lack mindset and that they have to take from other people. And they're not at all in tune with their own intuition, because I think this person this is something like on the other side of the globe than to where these people are. And it's because God is a loving God. And so God's path that they led this person on, their right, highest and best path, is so far away from these people because God loves both of these people. And it's like, you have a highest and best path. Go get it. I've created it for you. And to these people, you are going to be left alone. You need to be left alone. But you have to oust the garden from the snake from the Garden of Eden. That's what it really feels like. This is the snake in the Garden of Eden. Yeah, you have to learn. You know what this is? This is learning how to defend yourself. This is learning what the devil actually looks like. This is a very nice devil. And they're really like, they're laughing all the way to the bank is what I'm just hearing. This is a gross person. And the truth is coming out. And okay, so I feel like the truth is going to come out and then this person's going to be like, I'm sorry. That's when they're going to get soft in their energy. I just channeled a message about this. That'll, I think, explain this more. I'm just really sorry. But really, it's more game. It's more strategy. I'm telling you, you have to get this person away from you. You have to. This is a deeply ingrained pattern in this person. Because even their sorry face you've seen what this person looks like when they're in their devil energy. And it looks like, let me help you. It looks like, let me be around you all the time. And what they're doing is they're building a routine with you and they're severing a connection. That's what they're doing the whole time. And it's there to be seen that is the fruits of this person helping. It was all planned. This was all planned. Ew, this is so gross. And if you slept with this person, I am deeply sorry, because this is the R word. This is coercion. This is an attack. Ugh. It's a functioning dysfunction. Ew. And potentially they want to keep somebody in Knight of Wands energy because they can prey upon that. So they want to keep somebody impulsive. They want to keep somebody in their lower natures. They want to keep somebody very schmegsual. They don't want somebody to progress. They don't want somebody to... This is like an actual spiritual attack is like literally what I'm getting. It's like a blocker. This person is like, was sent from like the devil to like be a blocker on somebody's energy. This is teaching you about defense, knowing what you need to protect. Like you have to protect against this. This is what violence looks like. This is what that devil energy can look like. You got to know what you're looking for. This is all about defense. This is about knowing where to set your boundaries. And I just heard, if this is like a husband-wife connection, or this is somebody that you wanted like to start a relationship with, like have children with, that's a closed circuit, isn't it? That is a closed circuit. And it should be like, it's different, I think, when it comes in like from your friends that you know really well, but I think you needed to protect this in some way. Yeah, damn. They wanted to put you in a no-win scenario, is what they wanted to do. This is very like, doesn't his hair look sexy, push back? And they're like, oh, trust me, all the high quality girls love to be baited into third party situations. And they won't slap you in your face and tell you that you can go straight to hell. Not at all. That's how you get them. No, it's not. They know it's not. They know it's not. This is Regina George. But I feel like they're not the most attractive one in this situation. Yeah, this person needs some burden. I feel like for some of you, this person's like, they've maybe never had a struggle. Like they always have manipulated their way out of like struggling to get themselves out of a situation. And that's why I'm saying like, don't fall for it when this person's like, I'm sorry. And this came out, I'm almost channeling like pace for pace, like what I was channeling in this other reading that's going to come out in like a couple weeks from now, because I channeled it here recently. But this person, they take the pressure off. This is their way. This nice face, this I'm sorry, it's their way of taking the pressure off from the natural consequence that absolutely should ensue. And if you're a man and this is a woman, I feel they use that because the level of fuck you that this person needs, you'd probably get arrested for. And I'm saying that for their highest and greatest good. And I'm not telling you to be physical or anything, but I'm saying like the level of pissed that you would have to be, the level of get the fuck away from her and get the fuck away from me that you would have to be would scare this person. But that's what they need. And so I think you have to just walk away from it, because I don't know that you can be the person to deliver that message. I think it may have to be a woman. And I don't think it can be, if you're a man, I don't think it can be your woman, because she was targeted by this person. I think she'd have no problem saying it, but I think she needs to be protected. And I think, especially if you've slept with her, because there's going to be a smirking, there's going to be and it's gross. And I think just pray to God that this person like runs into the right one, that this person just runs into the right person to deliver the justice energy. I think they will. How do you protect yourselves? The way you protect yourself is learn about narcissists. Learn. Part of it is learning to not rush things, to really pull back and see, to deal with things like directly, learning the face that this is, learning to take your time, being out of that devil energy. This person wants to keep people in that Knight of Wands energy, in and out. It's not being manipulated. I think it's building up self-esteem, because I think that's where, like, I think whoever was baited into allowing this person to interlope, giving them a position to even have authority over their relationship with this other person, the way the conversations went. This is very, like, I'm seeing this person as like the negative version of Katie. Like, you know how she's like, she gives her the foot cream and everything, and it's like, oh yeah, this like clears up your skin. Oh yeah, this helps you lose weight. Like, this person is like, oh yeah, this is how you get a relationship. This is how you, allowing this person in, I think, requires a level of like not having self-esteem and just not being willing to be direct and to like go after something that you want yourself and risk rejection. I think like that's a part of it here as well, where they really got taken in by this person, the sweetness. And this is also understanding, pulling apart, understanding this is where knowledge is power, basically. Understanding that nice is not the same thing as good. Because I think this person can be very nice and very coaxing, but they're just decrepit. This is a very negative energy. This is the kind of energy that I think is the worst energy in the world. Like that pretends to be nice, that pretends to be sweet, that pretends to be helpful, because they take positions in our society and in our social groups that really should be reserved for people who are actually helpful. Literally, I want to cry as I'm saying this, where this person's like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to hear it from this person. They're not actually sorry. And the moment that you're like, oh, it's okay, this person's going to go right back to what they've, I think this person's been spoiled. I think this person has been allowed to get away with this behavior. I think they potentially, if this is a woman, they target men because they know that a man can't yell at them. And they also I just heard they think men are weaker. Because men are fast and loose with the sex, they think that's weak and they know they can prey on it. So I think this is a parasite that is kind of just illuminating your vulnerabilities. So when you're going through this situation and you're debriefing exactly how you fell for this wolf in sheep's clothing, exactly how you bought their shtick, exactly why when you knew that things weren't going the way that they were going, you were convinced to continue to put the foot cream on your face. You know, like why? Like when you get to like, why did I believe that? It's because I felt this way. I felt weak. I felt insecure. It's because I wasn't brave enough to do this. That's what it's illuminating for you. Kind of like if they're doing a medical test and they send some kind of colored liquid through your system so that you can see the leaks and stuff. That's the gift of having this person in your life, of having dealt with a person like this. It's going to show you your weakness and your vulnerabilities, and potentially where, like, a lot of men are like, the fact that I just F a bunch of people mindlessly and heartlessly, I think makes me a stronger man. Well, does it? It's a weakness that someone was able to prey upon. So that's what I'm saying is like, it illuminates something inside of you where you're like, this is something that needs to be dealt with within me. And it's going to be different for everybody. But I think, again, I'm hearing like knowledge is power. This is something where it's like, you probably want to watch Dr. Ramani. You probably want to learn, like maybe read the book Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. This is like learning about these manipulative personalities. So that, and a lot of this is just not always believing what you see in people and just putting some distance, because I'm getting that you didn't really know this person very well either. Like maybe you wanted to, like, I don't know. And it's like, why did you just trust? It's just because it's cowardice. Your cowardice led you to to just trust this person and like tell all of your most intimate secrets. Like, I really like this person and I really want to have a relationship, or this is somebody from my past and I really see them as my victory. You were able to say all of that to this person and not to this person because of cowardice. This person, because you could have said all of this to this other person and then you would have gotten your answer. Yes or no, and you would have been like freed from the situation, but instead you involved this like interloper into this situation. And so whatever that was, it's like a self-esteem issue, it's a fear, that needs to be conquered and overcome so that this person has nothing to prey upon. And listen to your intuition for sure. Yeah. They use your weaknesses against you. They absolutely do. And they try to hide in your blind spots. And they also try to distract you, and they try to throw you off their scent. And they do that by intentionally presenting a facade. They intentionally, because if they're presenting as nice and helpful, you're less likely to question them and to look closer. And this is a person you really needed to look closer. Yeah. There's a lot of evil eye on this, on you, on this connection, on your person. This was planned start to finish in this person's mind. They never intended to help you. They never came from the right place. This is another thing that I think you're pulling apart is the lip service, like somebody saying and then somebody doing something different. This is heartbreaking because I feel like it grosses me out that this person got some level of what they wanted out of this situation. It like honestly grosses me out. They're actually angry about like some kind of loving energy here. And potentially they're angry that somebody here is like leveled up out of this situation because they really wanted to hurt somebody here. They really wanted to break somebody's heart. Possibly with like a third party situation. Somebody here is like protected. This person is not sorry. In their soul, they're not sorry. Because this is like we were talking about in pile number 1, the whole issue of forgiveness. This is where you really run the risk of that. This is a person that shouldn't be forgiven because they're not actually sorry. And they're going to do it again. And this is a person that's hard to detect when they do it the first time. They're just kicking the rock down the road. And they're just in a little pattern of this. Because it takes a lot to discover that they're not what they actually are. Even though they benefit, even though they get exactly what it is that they want, it's still hard to see that that's what they're doing. So when you find it, you need to take an extremely hard stance. And this is where I would do your cord cutting. This is where I would pray to God that you always see through this person in every single lifetime and that God puts a continent between you and this person. And that they're kind of segregated. Well, just pray for their highest and greatest good, but also the highest and greatest good of everyone else. And I cannot imagine a scenario where that does not involve this person being like ousted socially. Like just isolated. This person does not play well with others. And I think a group of human beings needs to just be like, we all like each other and we value cooperation in our relationships. So you can't be here. You can't be here. And you can say that we're mean all you want, but we are the pro-social ones, because you're going to get, this is one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. This is get away is what needs to occur, because anybody who has a relationship with you loses a relationship with 15 other people, or loses a primary relationship. That's who this person is. And they're not sorry. I can't say that enough. They are not sorry. They just play sorry. They cry. This comes out in that reading. They cry in order to get you to comfort them, in order to tone down your yelling. Because when you're mad and you're yelling at somebody, you're trying to get through that they did something wrong. So this person is like, okay, I get it. I'm sorry. And they do that so that you think that you don't have to push as hard for them to get it, because they're remorseful and they're going to course correct. This person is not going to course correct. This is going to take, this person needs something away from humans. Like, I don't know what this is. This person tries to give people options, and they try to confuse the options that they have. They possibly try to enter into secretive smexual relationships with people in order to confuse the situation. It's a rival offer. They try to create a rival offer. They try to put distance, is what they try to do. This is a gross person. So, what's happening with this person? I'm just curious. Oh my gosh, this person wants to cry, but they only cry for themselves. This person wants to cry because they've been found out, and because they're locked out of a union. And it's not even their union, but they're like actually been ousted. Something has been done here, like a cord cutting, something, where they've actually not been allowed to parasite. It's like a tick. I'm seeing this person's like a tick, and they're trying to suck the lifeblood out of something or someone, or and they've been like ousted. They've been removed, and they're crying and they're panicking, and they're like, oh no. But like, it's not from, this is what's confusing about this person, is you might cry and freak out because they target good people. You're going to want to rush over and like comfort this person. I wouldn't do that though, because they're not crying because they're remorseful. They let you think that. They're crying as a panic because they're losing their prey and they're losing their selfishness. This is a real piece of work. And this person is like possibly colluding with someone. This is somebody who could hire somebody to do magic or something. And they're also trying to watch this union or something. What else? This cycle is ending. I think it's a forced ending here as well. Look, yeah, somebody here, and I think it just needs to be one person. Somebody here has like completed the cycle. They've triumphed over this situation. They have so much like divine protection here, and it's forcing an ending to this cycle here. Something's being cut down. Their mourning energy, like whoever was like targeted and probably made to feel really bad, like their mourning energy is like also what's being cut down. What's happening with this person? Yeah, they're being forced into this hangman position, but I just saw this, what's the T deck? Once you back, bad habit. That's what I'm saying. They just want to go around again. That's all this person wants. They just want to go around again. Drugs, addictions, toxicities. I'm just really getting that this person plugs into like partying, drugs, schmegsual energy, impulsive energy. They try to get your guard down. This person tries to get your guard down. Unbothered and child services. So I feel like some of these people, there's some kind of maybe child services that's involved. Like maybe their kids are being taken away in they're getting some kind of bad karma. Especially if they used a child here to hook someone. This is like a baby trap situation or something. Clout hungry. Says anything, does anything, makes shit up dramatic. They could have lied. They could have lied about some kind of child situation, some kind of child services, and they could have reported abuse or something, like where that's not actually the case and that's being found out, or giving money. Oh, they could have lied about giving money to something here in order to force their bullshit. This person is a liar. And I just feel like really nothing is too low for this person. And they act like their shit doesn't stink. This is a person who acts like they're just so, they don't even act neutral. This person acts so benevolent and they're so adverse. They just impersonate. This is a wolf in sheep's clothing. So I feel like you're dodging a bullet here. And look, your light irritates their demons. This is a demon. I ask what else? Something here's over for this person. So something here has ended. And I really just feel like they can't access what they're trying to exploit in a person and in a situation because somebody's graduated out of it. So for instance, if it was like lust in an individual, well, this person is realized that it's not actually cool to be sexually incontinent. It's not a bragging point. It's not a point of strength. It's a place where a parasite can get in. And that's what they're learning. And they can't access whatever it is, like however they try to manipulate people. And there could be something being found out about what this person did or did not give money to. Like they could have promised that, they could have said, oh yeah, I donated this money to this charity. And like they really didn't. And that's being found out. Or something here about children, a lie about a child. Yes, a lie about a child, maybe like being a wish fulfillment or something. And I don't know. It feels like one of their lies has run its course here. It's about to be found out in like a big way, in a way that they can't like counteract, or this has already happened. Like the way that they can't contradict. Look, it's glitching now. Hey, so the connection is really stuttery. I've got a moment here. This is a very negative. Can you guys see me? This is just a very negative energy. Like everything seems to be fine. Like in terms of YouTube, we've restarted the energy, we started the internet. But I'm just saying, like everything that happens in the live stream, like I was telling you, is a message. And I feel like this energy, like regardless of what's going on, technically speaking, this is a part of the message to me. This person does not want their secret to come out. I've been out here like pulling cards to figure out like what this is. And it's because this person does not want, that I was telling you is false about this person. They're like, no, I want forgiveness. I'm sorry. The timing was just not right for us. Like that's really what it is. It's a lustful energy. It's a possessive energy. It's a preoccupation energy. It is an owning energy. And that's what they want to try to pass off as love. And it's just not love. And this is an energy that is refusing to live in the energy of love. They're refusing to even know the difference between love and selfishness and lust and passion. They're refusing to do that. They are refusing to take accountability for their bad behavior mechanism as well, because if they are not, like, I think they did something bad to like sleep with someone or to interrupt a connection. I think they did something bad. And I don't think they want to admit that. I think they'd rather see themselves as this like lover energy, when really they're like a rash is what I'm getting. Like they're succubus, incubus. And that came out next to this. Your light irritates their demons. So am I coming through?
So from what I'm seeing and both what I'm hearing in the preview and what people are saying, it sounds like they can hear you fine. It's just really terrible video quality.
Okay, great.
I think I can actually turn the camera off if that might actually help the stream.
Okay, sure. So if you guys can hear me fine, can you guys hear me fine? Okay, I'm gonna keep talking. Can anybody tell me if you're hearing me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey, hey. I don't think they can hear me. Oh, wait.
It's behind.
Oh, the sound is great. Okay. So yeah, I just feel like this person is really not wanting their secret to come out. And I think there's another secret here as well. And I think it might have to do with a child. And I think it might have to do with money that was given, maybe to like a child charity or something, about money and a child, maybe child support, thing here as well. But this person is negative. And I don't think that they can face what they did. And I don't think they can face who they are. I think they'd rather think, oh, this person's my love. This person is like my love interest. Yeah. So, but they're not. Like this person is in deep denial, but they're also extremely negative, because there's a thing like denial is a block. Oh, just like this. Denial is like a block. Denial is a curtain. And what's behind it depends on the quality of the human. Like the spiritual work that you've already done. The work on like being a person. This person behind that denial is a very negative energy. Very selfish energy. They've done bad things and that they have not, it's a very karmic energy. They've treated people very poorly and they've not cleaned up their mess. Denial is not cute. This person tries to wear their denial as though they're cute and they're sweet and they're innocent. But really, it prevents this person from participating with justice energy, from participating with like the swing of things and actually doing what's correct. And so what this person needs to understand is that in doing what's correct, it will lead them away from these two. It will lead them away from this person and not towards this person. And that is what I'm saying, where this is a karmic energy. They've got to learn how to let somebody go, but it's like their mind is so attached to this person. They're so obsessed with this person. And it's that lack energy that's like, no, this is my twin flame. I'm supposed to be with this person, ignoring all signs that if they just did the right thing in their life, this is what I'm saying, this isn't a spiritual person. That's what I'm saying, this isn't a good person. Because they're saying this is my destiny, but literally if they did the correct things, like the things that are right, the things that are fair, if they lived in alignment with honesty, if they lived in alignment with truth, it would have not led them to sleeping with this person, to be honest. I think they would have never slept with this person. And I think they did something underhand in order to do it. And I think this person cannot admit that to themselves. It never would have happened because it's not supposed to happen. So they dipped their character in order to gain this. That's the definition of devil energy, isn't it? And this person's denial refuses to allow them to see that because they can't see themselves as anything but, I don't know what this is, a romantic, this person's equal, like they don't, and I think they wronged this person. I think this is the R word. I think it's the R word by coercion. And it's truth. These two people should never have slept together, or they should never have had certainly never a relationship. I don't even think they should have been around each other in a routine way. I think that their life paths would have just absolutely, I just heard two roads diverged in a wood, in a yellow wood. And I'm hearing like yellow bellied. Yeah, this person is in deep denial and they have a karmic approach to friendship. I'm hearing myself say in another reading, who uses friendship as a stepping stone to enact their selfish plan of trying to trap someone in a relationship, trying to use a rival offer instead of, and I think, yeah, and they offer to help somebody, or they seem like they're nice and kind. But all of this is extremely natural, romantic, or sexual interest between the two of them. They know that. They know that they have to manufacture it, and they are using friendship, closeness, and possibly a friend's group and a friend's circle in order to do that. And it's all just extremely karmic. Because if this person just lived their life and did actions in accordance to the right thing to do in any given moment, which is rising up to your dharma, and it's how you burn karma, and it's how you don't accumulate more karma. If this person lived that way, they couldn't control the outcome with this person. But this is the evil that I was talking about in terms of twin flame. So if this is you and you think you're a twin flame to somebody, no, you're extremely karmic. Because they're saying, I have to be with this person come hell or high water, regardless of any information that flies in my face that they may not want that they actually, I think this is a group that can see that they want somebody else, or they were explicitly told that they want somebody else, and they couldn't let that be. And they want to feel justified in doing that. So they want to say, I'm this lover, and you just don't really see that because you're blinded by lust. No, these two people have actual chemistry. And you can see that they have actual chemistry. 6 of Cups. That's two people who really genuinely love each other. Like they have a lot in common. It's actually not lust. Regardless of if they're attracted to each other or not, you are the one that's in lust energy. And that you are the one that's actually you're looking at that person with lust, and so you're projecting out onto the other person that, oh, it's like so lustful. I'm not saying that they're not attracted to each other. People who are in relationships tend to be attracted to each other, but that's different than the energy of lust, because theirs checks out with everything else. It's never pull some kind of weird narcissistic underhanded move to try to force themselves onto somebody in a way that is not absolutely and without a doubt consensual and okay, and it's not preying upon any loss or lies or anything like that. Never. And that's why they love each other so much. And that's why it's pure love, because there's no strategy that's been injected into the situation. And you do need to take responsibility for it, and you do need to clear it up, and you do need to get right with your conscience, and you need to move the absolute hell away from these two people, because it brings out the worst in you. This is the other thing. It's keeping you sick. You're saying, oh, this is a divine connection, but it's because you're just so consumed by your lust. And now there's more crying energy. It's like this person wants to change, but I'm saying like they need to get away from the people that they victimized. And where people think doing love spells is like white magic. No, it's not. Look at the absolute hell on earth that it can create, right? Like this is not an appropriate use of things. You're forcing your way into something, This is a bad person. They're in some negative energy and they cannot be trusted. They are not trustworthy. This is the kind of trustworthy because they refuse to acknowledge truth. They refuse to acknowledge the truth of what they did to this person, the lies that they told, the way that they weaseled their way in. This is a person who buys their own bullshit. This is a person who thinks that because nobody's screaming at them, this is a very negative cycle for this person. They need the negative feedback because this is a person who, it's like they do these really underhanded things. They don't get seen as being the negative person that they are. So people treat them as a friend, or people tolerate them on a routine basis. And when they are found out, then they like cry and they never get like told off. They never get They never get reflected back the absolute level of malevolence that lives inside this person. And that's what they have to confront. They have to confront that that's what they are. And because there's no yelling around them, and because it's like seems like friendship, this person is reflected back. It's inappropriate mirroring. They're inappropriately mirrored back that they're a good person, or that they're a friend, or that they're a kind person. Because this is a person who just really milks on a person's forgiveness. They have to be around people who are brainwashed to forgive and stuff, because there wouldn't be a relationship otherwise. Oh, okay. There wouldn't be a relationship otherwise. And they're a predator. They're a parasite. And they have to deal with that within themselves, or they will never be a good person. They're currently not a good person to a ridiculous level. And I'm sorry if this is you, but I feel like nobody in your life, because of your own manipulations, has been able to successfully mirror this back to you. You're not a twin flame. You're not a divine person. It's not that you don't have the potential to be, but the way is you have to knock it off. And it's not going to be I get it. Your spiritual path, it will never be through the lust energy. So you got to shut that off. It will never be. You don't have a divine relationship. I'm literally feeling cranky. You don't, because you're not trusted with it. Yours is the path of the sage. You will go off and be in a monastery somewhere, whether it's this lifetime or others. When you become enlightened, you will be alone. You will be in a cave, because that is where you're at. You can't be trusted with it. That's what exploit that. And so they want you to walk away from it. Put it down. It's something that makes you sick. And you got to stop lying to yourself about it. It's something that you abuse. And I feel like it hurts to hear that. But I just feel like you are such a good manipulator that nobody has told you that before. Whew, I just wanted to get that out. This person's like, but I love you. This isn't love. It's obsession. It's lust. It's wanting something. But the inner love liberates. And if this is you, you should watch Maya Angelou, Love Liberates, like literally every single day. Her poem of Love Liberates. You should read that Corinthians Bible verse that talks about love literally every single day, because you don't know what love is and you're misusing the word. This is somebody who confuses romantic love for love. Or they think because they're in a relationship with someone that there's love. It doesn't mean that. It's very superficial. Are we still up and going?
People can still hear you.
Okay. I hid who I really am from you. How can there be any love if somebody hides who they really are? How is that the energy of love? I hide behind material things. Now we're starting to get some admissions here. I'm becoming a better person. Good. I feel like this person needs to accept the path of aloneness. I also think that this is just a person that they may attach themselves to people in order to get ahead in life. Like, it's not their own skills. It's like they partner with this person because their dad owns the company, or they partner with this person because they're rich and they can open doors for them or something. Like, I just feel like this person, what they exploit is relationships. And so it's never going to be, their path is just not through that. Their path is by accepting the path of aloneness. That's where their greatness lies. That's where their divinity lies. It's not that it's not there. It's just it's greed and lust and envy. They've just intertwined those energies so much with the relationship space that they have to drop it. They have to let it go. And I'm sorry if this is harsh, but you hurt a lot of people. And I feel like, and I also just heard that you hurt a lot of people. You heard a lot of people maybe crying out that you were rude, or like, I think Spirit has been trying to message you about this. But, yeah, there's an obsession here. An obsession is not love. This is like not a person that's working through their stuff. Okay, let me just see. Anything else? Ugh, and then like this person looks for sympathy. I just can't stand it. This person does everybody ill, causes the problems behind the scenes, and then looks for forgiveness. And they want to offer somebody, oh no. And you have to stop pursuing it. Like, whoever this is, you have to stop pursuing it. Because you want to make this person an offer. You want it to be, no, you're not in the right energy. This is a long road to healing. You're not even willing to walk away from this person, to give them space, to allow them to choose you or not to choose you. Without coercion, without manipulation. You're not even willing to do that. So how could you possibly love them? How could you possibly love them? I'm sorry if this is harsh. I just feel like you have really, I think you've actually, and I think that you've actually caused a lot of people hurt and a lot of people pain. And I think certain things that you have said and certain things that you have not said have also added insult to injury. And I just think that somebody needs to mirror back your hostility. Because none of this is genuine. Even when you apologize, when you get soft, you do it because you expect somebody to mirror your energy. You know that somebody will get soft back with you. That if you lower your voice, they're going to lower theirs. That's all. You're just very manipulative. You're just very good at doing the dance. It doesn't come from a real, genuine, authentic place. This is the stickiest kind of karmic energy that there is. You got to stop doing it. You've got to be the one. You've got to be the one to deal with yourself. And to neutralize this energy. You have to care enough about the havoc that you've caused in pursuit of your lust and your greed that you stop doing this altogether and that you put it down. That's the way that this group makes amends. It's the only way. So don't kid yourself. Don't lie to yourself and say, oh no, I can make this up because then I can apologize and then we can. No. You need to remove from the situation. You need to fully remove your tentacles, your manipulations. For some of you, it's your energy work. You need to fully remove it. You need to fully move it back. And that's all I'm going to say here about pile number 3. We'll see if this comes back on. The truth is that something here is over. And I think you had plenty of time. I just said that that's the last time I'm going to say. I think you had plenty of time to come clean, to tell the truth. But somebody here has leveled up. They've ended this cycle. And so now that they've ended it, you're like, no, now I want to play correctly. Now I want to, no, it's done. You had your chance. This person, it was imbalanced. This is a final one. The universe is enforcing an ending on this situation. Okay. Oh. What? I just moved it. Sorry. I was just so used to hitting the general message.
Put it back to the main.
Just put it back to main?
Yeah, that's where you had it.
Okay.
I just let everybody know that what we're going to try to do is to...
I just refuse to be bullied off. So, I'm gonna continue to do this. Like, I'm gonna continue to do the general messages. Sorry that this is a little bit weird or wonky or anything like that, but I don't care. Like, if somebody is having a fit or anything, like, I don't know what's wrong with this. Maybe it is just a technical difficulty, but I'm gonna do what I want to do, kind of thing. All right. Let's see. What general messages, Spirit, do you want to talk about? All right. Something here is unexpected. Some kind of surprise or shocking. Something here is that you're seeing on, oh my gosh, I think because what it is it's a snake energy that's come through. Some kind of unexpected, this woman in the card that I'm looking at is looking down at her phone. She's completely shocked. This is unusual, it's unpredictable, and it's this kind of snake energy, deception, shady, temptation, and enemy. And I feel like Spirit is maybe talking about this. Look, it's the snake that's coming in on a relationship here. The relationship card just came out. Commitment, partner, boyfriend, or girlfriend. Yeah, this snake energy. This is so like the snake in the Garden of Eden, like trying to tempt, trying to weasel their way in. Oh my gosh, it's literally kind of just confirming this. The friends card just came out. This is a person who is weaponizing a friendship energy, trying to act like they're a friend, but they're really an enemy. They wear the cloak of friendship. And really, they're this kind of snake energy. And Spirit is just confirming that. They could want a wedding out of this situation. They're trying to get in on a relationship that is a marriage. Mask. Hidden motive, concealed, disguise, and lying. They have some kind of hidden motive. Look, between the lines. I'm just going to read these cards like word for word because I feel like Spirit is just like kind of giving us the tea here. Hidden meaning, vague, speculate, implicit. They have a hidden meaning behind their words. I think they made some kind of shocking message that was like very vague, and it caused some kind of, and that's what they used to weasel their way into a relationship here. But I think it was vague, and it encouraged you to speculate something here. Music card came out. Musician, snake charmer, harmony, and melodic. I feel like this snake has a very melodic way of speaking. They speak maybe a harmony talk, but it's like really kind of a charming. They try to charm their way in. They try to lure you away from like your family or from your family, something that your family gave you as like a backstop to take into the world with you, which is like your family values or expectations or something. They try to lure you. I'm hearing like different place, like different pace, different place. They try to like move kind of locations or something, and that disguises their hidden motives. For some of these people, they could wear a mask of healing. They could say that they want to heal the situation, but it's just to get you on a, this person really wants like a marriage or something. And they're looking at a soulmate union, but they really want to like wear the guise of being a soulmate union. But really this is like an addiction, and they want to stoke an addiction, or they want to weaponize an addiction. It's really just a toxic attachment. And then drugs, alcohol, and obsession. Yeah. And they want to give the impression that the grass is greener. Jealousy, better option, unhappy, and deserve better. Family. They could say certain things like that, like, they could start some shit here, and then they could be like, oh, you deserve better than this. You deserve so much better. Like, that's why you, like, our genitals should touch, because you deserve better. Like, this person is clearly a snake when you know how to look at it. But, and I wouldn't drink around this person or anything. They're really trying to get in on a relationship. This is evil. It's always been evil. I'm not about to tolerate this, by the way. I'm not about to tolerate, like, excusing this behavior, because that's another thing is like, I am all about compassion. I'm all about, but that's when a person is being genuine. And this person wears a cloak of being genuine, but they're not actually genuine. And this is an energy that needs to be stood up to. And you need to kind of call them out. You need to call this for what it is. Or at the very least, I would actually try to remove, once you see who this energy is, you should just remove yourself from this energy. Although it feels like they are trying to like knock at your door. But honestly, I feel like they will back off, like, because they are vulnerable in a certain way. So they will back off here. And I think it's when there's some kind of unexpected, oh my gosh, it's some kind of unexpected like fight, argument, competition to their bullshit, like a competition to their narrative, somebody correcting something here. And I feel like it's a person who is a King of Swords energy. It could be an authority, but this is somebody who sees very level-headed. Sees the truth for what it is. They're not swept away by like some kind of emotional immaturity I just heard or anything like that. They see very clearly, and they've called upon some kind of justice. This person remains very balanced in the situation, but I also feel like somehow their energy enters the situation, and it's kind of in a Knight of Wands fashion. Like it's giving rescuer, actually. It's giving like a genuine like Knight of the Round Table, but it's just a hat that this person wears. I think in reality, this person is the King of Swords, and they're this I just heard, I got a princess face, a killer body, samurai mind. But I just heard that like samurai mind, like they have this like very balanced way of like defending themselves, and it's causing like the death energy here. And this person's energy, it's like it comes in and out to just like correct the narrative in some way. And it could be even energetic, or it's like to offer a different way of looking at it. That person's energy is what is defeating this snake. Because I'm seeing the snake, like there's fire and the snake's kind of like backing up. I'm also seeing a lot of movement and kerfuffle, and the snake doesn't want to get like stepped on. So it's like kind of backing away. And it is actually feeling, I don't trust any emotion that the snake would have. It's feeling, I just heard jealous, but it's also feeling ashamed. It's forced into some kind of moon energy. Actually, I think this is a part of like a group that has been turned against itself, or some to not forced, but like they can all of a sudden see the deception in something that this snake energy has like put in their energy. So tell me more about this snake. There's a judgment on this snake. I feel like they tried to cause a negative energy, and that energy has turned this energy. It's a judgment energy. There's like something here that's like on high. And it has something to do with like some kind of karmic shit that they did in the past. And it is to do with greed, and it is to do with lust. And possibly, okay, this is also devil energy, because they thought that they had a victory here. because this is what happens when you don't see through the lens of wisdom. So I think they successfully blocked a relationship or interfered with a relationship in some way, shape, or form. And it could just be like schmegully or whatever. And they thought that they had won. They thought that that's like having a victory. But the way this is going to play out in the long term is I just heard they're going to wish to hell they'd never done it. They're going to wish to high hell that they'd never done it. Because there is some kind of... There is somebody here. Okay, so this snake energy, somebody here like fell prey to temptation, but I feel like somebody else here, and it could be this King of Swords, didn't. Like somebody here is actually like, I just heard, go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Somebody could spread this person's business, but it also, somebody could have been like bribed, but they didn't take the bribe. It's like somebody here didn't fall for temptation, because I'm seeing the like Purva Bhadra energy, which is like Jesus being tempted on the mountain by the devil. Like, oh, you could have the whole world if you just turn against your morals. And somebody here didn't do that and refuses to do that. And like, it's something, it's going to come out, or it's going to reveal some kind of, somebody here could reveal a manipulative offer that this person made. They could have tried to pay them to keep a secret, or they could have paid them to interfere in a relationship here. Somebody's coming in with the truth. And it could have been somebody here that was in the past in some kind of snake energy. I just heard like an agent, like what is it? Not a double agent, but like a 007 kind of like spy. Like somebody was sent in order to keep somebody like feeling like something was their fault, or to keep something like bound. And that person actually is going to see the truth clearly. They're going to see that they were used, and that they're not okay with that anymore. And I think they may come in with some kind of truth. They're going to illuminate something here. I kept seeing this snake be afraid of like fire. And then the Ace of Wands card just came out, and it's like just this divine hand that like has this fire on it, and it's going to illuminate something here. And it's going to illuminate this victory. It's going to illuminate what the snake thought was a victory in the past, but it's going to hand somebody else, somebody genuine, the actual victory here. They're going to see something clearly, and they're going to be able to block something. They could have some evidence to bring an authority into the situation, and it's going to change the fortune energy in this situation. Somebody here has receipts. Somebody here has proof of something here. It could be pictures, like nudie pictures for some. Somebody here could have nudie pictures, and it could be like very, I don't know, unexpected, or somebody's going to see that, or there's some kind of unexpected, like there's some kind of shocking, unexpected news. And it could be that that's what happened in the past. And there's some kind of karmic rebalancing that's going on here, where this snake is actually getting stomped on, or it's getting like called out, kind of in a similar fashion to what happened to like this other person. Yeah, something seen clearly about a King of Wands, and it's causing somebody like tears and crying and some kind of like, I just heard, I got a princess face, a killer body, samurai mind. I keep hearing that. Somebody is going to move away from this person. Their sneaky energy is going to be found out. They really tried to get in between people here. They could have like used some kind of past connection in order to do it, that somebody was like unaware of, or somebody didn't see this clearly. Yeah. There's like a healing energy coming in for their victims. Anything else that you want to say about this snake spirit? Okay, I'm reaching for a timing deck, so interesting. I sincerely hope you guys get some Chipotle or something after the absolute ride this has been. Look, next month just came out. Wow, this is quick. Summertime around June. So those could be milestones or marker points, like next month, summertime, June. So those could be significant milestones in this. There could be something here literally connected to the schmegul act, like nudie pics, or somebody here could have like have caught something from this person that's coming out here. Somebody out. And moving away from a shit starter, some kind of drama starter. Moving away from the drama. I'm just going to grab another deck here if there's... Anything else that wants to come out? Illumination. Yeah. And I keep hearing from Aladdin, it's like, whilst I illuminate. Whoa, whoa. That from the genie. Can y'all friends do this? Can y'all friends do that? So somebody here, illumination. There's an illumination about a romance energy here. The truth, a discovery, an awakening about some kind of, and this isn't a romance with the snake energy. They're incapable of genuine romance. It's just sex is all it is. Yeah. Messages could be discovered here. Somebody's true colors is coming out. I don't know if this snake is also in a relationship, but that relationship could, I just heard falter. Somebody here is going to get caught. And it might have something to do with money spent as well. Possibly a love child, or somebody here could lie and say that they are pregnant or something. Yeah. Somebody is going to be ashamed when this truth comes out, and somebody else is going to turn their back and move forward. Yeah, this could have happened at like a side hustle or like something that was going on in the or somebody could have gotten paid to interfere with somebody, so maybe somebody meddles in people's relationships in some way, like as a side hustle. I don't know, like tries to break people up. What a weird side hustle. But it could be, for some, it could be magic, like a magical practitioner or something that does that. All right. We've had enough of this. I'm going to get off of here. I just needed for my own self to finish this reading. I know that the audio is cutting in and out. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for sticking in. For those of you that did, I don't know, like all the magical answers and stuff, like how you repel this energy or something. What I believe in wholeheartedly is that I'm going to finish what I started. So I'm not going to be bullied anywhere. I might win some and I might lose some, but what I have is grit and tenacity and just faith in God. So that'll carry me through, or it won't, but that's just, yeah, always do what's best for you and not for others. So, okay. If you guys are like, what I mean, and I think Spirit's just asking me to clarify this like really quick, is like, if there was 0 people in here watching me right now, I would finish this live stream. That's what I'm talking about. That's my energy. That's what I mean. Like, they're not going to interrupt me. They might interrupt me in certain ways, but my own energy, what flows forth from me, is up to me. And I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to finish what I started here with this message. So anyways, like I said, I don't know the magical parts of it, but I think if you just have that attitude of like, I know what's right and wrong for me, and I'm not going to be intimidated, or I'm not going to be like bullied away from something, then I feel like that is a start. So, all right. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being my people. Thank you for sticking in here. Yeah, we have a Patreon video coming out, and that's that tomorrow. If you guys are interested in that. And yeah, that's what I have. All right. Bye, guys.